like, gone, like, a week without one?
Probably not. He's probably addicted.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, sure you have. Okay.
Am I live? Are we live? Oh no,
I hope
we're
not.
alive.
No, you're dead.
I wish I was fucking dead, but nope!
You're gonna wish you were dead after we're done reading this.
Fucking Ross has the best reaction.
Let me move some shit around here.
Oh, we'll hear no more of this Hebrew nonsense. Oh, that's fucking great.
Swords.
Class when surrounded by all this ass.
You know, you gotta wonder how many missed opportunities there are with Ruby and all that shit around it.
It's too innumerable to count.
I still wonder. I still like to wonder about it because, it makes me sad. And sadness is at least an emotion.
So many wasted waifus.
So many wasted waifus.
So many plot points that could have gone somewhere interesting.
So much bumblebee faggotry. So sad. So sad.
So many.
Again, I wouldn't be annoyed by Bumblebee if it was actually written.
Set up.
If it was set up, if it was well written, and if it was earned.
It's none of those three things.
Yep. And because of that, it just comes off as fucking offensive.
Mm-hmm.
And it is offensive.
Yes. Well, I hate it. You fucking see that fucking GIF I posted from Volume 8? Lol, I fucking hate it.
It's lesbian exploitation.
I was going to say they fucking were apart for almost the entire fucking season or whatever, but I guess they're fucking alright. Even though they both abandoned that promise. Yeah, you know that promise to never leave each other's side?
Look, they're right back together the way that they shouldn't be. But they are anyways.
I was gonna say they're right back together right after Blake abandoned her for the, what, 4th time? 5th time? I stopped
Far too
counting.
high of a number to check time. Okay. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, baby, baby, baby.
Big game hunter
Oh.
convention planned suspiciously close to furry convention. I want their skin!
Yeah, I don't think I want a furry skin. They'd be too cum-stained.
There's going to be, this chapter is going to be hard to get through because of a certain character showing up.
Yeah, you're gonna see Callie and it's gonna make you sad. Let me just get into a comfortable position. And
I don't wanna, kitty.
Broken
Your consent
Fangs.
is optional.
Your consent is optional.
Consent is for humans who are freemen.
And say you're still a slave to the British, you fucking Canadian bitch.
Oh, the British would be better at managing our country than we are. Dude, we're run by a fucking Frenchman. I wish it was the British.
And look
At
how
least
you
the British
turned
are my own fucking people.
But you got that French-Canadian shit up there, kitty.
So? The French Canadians ain't my people.
Yes,
The
they
French
are.
Canadian are my people.
They're the
Yes,
fucking
they are.
Franks. No, they ain't. They're the Franks.
Yes, they ain't.
No, they ain't. They're the Franks. They want
Yes, they
independence. We
ain't.
give them fucking independence.
Tell that to all the French people there, kitty.
They want it. They want independence. They agree with me.
How come they've never supported it there, kitty?
They had a vote like 10 years ago.
Doesn't that mean it's about time for a new,
Yes.
vote?
Yeah. A new vote on independence should be coming in the next, like, 5 years.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy.
I'm sure those French people will support that one as well there, kitty.
So the reason why the last one failed is because of mass immigration into Montreal.
Oh, yeah, wow, shocking.
And, that mass immigration was mostly, blacks, and they all, for some reason, vote liberal, and they also are anti-Quebec independence. Go figure why there's mass immigration going on. But outside of the two main cities of Quebec City and Montreal, everyone is pro-independence. Like, the vast majority of Quebec wants independence. It's just that those cities have all the representation politically. And if they say we're staying, they're staying.
I'm gonna go make a glass of milk. I'll be back.
Alright.
He's gonna milk those cows nice and fresh. The cows have
boy,
those
what
bad
is this
cat
again?
ears. Broken Fangs by Cyanide Sins, Chapter 21. The Friends Remake.
Oh god, already I'm like, oh no.
Do not forget, this is dark stuff. I'm gonna move my mic a little bit. Here we
Does he
are.
really need to say, oh no, it's dark stuff, guys? At this point, like, if anyone's gotten this far, they can already tell.
Yeah, if they've gotten this far, they know it's fucking dark, and honestly, it's
Edgy
grimderp.
and
Is
it's grimderp.
It is grimderp. And man, I could go on a fucking rant about grimderp, but I won't, because we have enough time-wasting shit going on here. Now, let's begin. When I was first bought, I wished to kill you. His head turned to the large, faunus man whose weapon was lowered, not aggressive in any way, the man merely looking at him with eyes that held a sadness. His fingers shifted almost nervously up and down the weapon, as if he was trying to hold on to the thought and the moment. Okay. Your family is directly responsible for our loss. We were enslaved. I was 14 and... It was their fate. Servitude or death. His grandfather...
Servitude.
There we go. Sorry, I just had to shift myself a little bit.
It's cool.
Servitude or death. His grandfather had hacked out the creed into the annals of history and had made sure that the faunus knew it. The man looked at him, the eyes seemed almost desperate. And I have heard... What? And I have heard what happened to Lady Camellia. The name of Ark is like the mark of the traitor to us. The desecrator is one we will tell. We tell tales of stories of how that man broke the floor. I hated you. You were able to make more of the Ark family. A deep shivering sigh, a moment where he seemed to hyperventilate. The man's eyes looked sad, but John did not move. His fingers was on a button, which within easy reach. With a press and a certain throat vocalization, the collar would detonate. If Mint had wished to hurt him...
Also need to activate it? Fuck it.
I don't know. If Mint wished to harm him, he would have... I have seen things, Master John. The moment when I was about to... The man's eyes started to leak. His eyes start to leak. Yes, the fluid from inside his eyeballs starts leaking out. Oh, fuck.
Pretty interesting thing. Once you start getting to a certain enough temperature, your eyeballs actually start to boil. It's real interesting.
That's boiling points for fluids. It's mostly water in those things, so yeah. Over 100 C, yeah, they're gonna start to boil.
Oh, if only that happened. That'd be amazing.
The man's eyes started to leak as the bulky man shivered. Oh, so he's cold. Interesting. His hands changed their grip on the pole again, his breathing heavier as if it took him time and effort to speak.
The garden fork in my hand would have pierced your back, and I would have left you in the gardens between the rose bushes, but she asked me to help her move, and by the gods, I wish to never hear those words again. I wish not to see those paintings ever again. Master Jean, so pale, so pale.
The faunus was disturbed. the man who was crying is disturbed. You don't fucking say. Oh my god. Oh lord. Okay.
Local man claims that disturbing imagery is disturbing. More news at 11.
Oh my god. Oh Lord Almighty. Oh boy. Oh. Faunus was disturbed, something in his eyes changing, and his halberd seemed more like a cane that he held onto as the tears dripped onto the ground. He looked at the man who looked like he was almost human in his shock.
I helped her as she asked and put her in bed. She smiled at me and patted my head and said that I had been saved from death, that I'd not hurt her family ever again, that I'd not so pale and so pale and so.
The man shook his head, wiping the tears away from his eyes.
There was emotion.
Thanks! It was from a faunus. Oh, animals have emotions! You don't say! It was strange, but also it made him think.
Your pet.
Wait.
Your pet.
The from faunus's voice was soft as he spoke up.
She will go to the end of this world for you. Cherish her as you would cherish a wife.
Thank you. He knew that somewhere. If there was someone he would go to the end of the world for, it would be Yang. She was the light at the end of the darkness, the sun who shone on his mind. Blake was the shadow to Yang's light. I unconsciously fixed that sentence, actually. Let me read it correctly. Blake as the shadow to Yang's light.
Kill me.
Mistress Camellia seized me the next day, showed me horrendous things. She had found out somehow. Mistress Auburn never told anyone, but she was merciless. Regardless, her damaged body. It's hard to describe, but
He nodded, understanding. He'd seen what had been done to his eldest sister, and he felt bad for her.
we hate you for what you are, what your family has done to our kind.
He looked at the man whose eyes were mournful, whose gaze did not hold that killer instinct that he had come to expect from a faunus.
But those who work for your family, those who know who holds the power in the household, do not. Terra adores your sister. She would do anything for her, no matter what it was. Even most of the common-born domestic slaves do not think that unkindly of the family. Except when Lady Auburn comes to take them. Your family...
I was gonna say, except the ones who raped Camilla, and the ones who killed or tried to kill your sister that one time, and the ones who tried to kill you that one time that we'll find out later. But no, they all think just great things about you. Totally.
I think he's mentioning the people who were born domestically. Like, they were bred by the family.
Yes, I was going to say, if that's the case, like, why would you, if all the fucking people who have tried to assassinate or hurt your family members come from, like, outside, then why would you keep accepting people or slaves from the outside?
Because you need to keep buying more. Expand your stock.
There's
Anyway.
also the thing too is that they just like, isn't it established too that they also just have a lot of money, so they're just like slapping people in the face with like, you know, stacks of money just to be impressive.
Yes, I was gonna say, but every single time they buy more slaves, one of the slaves ends up fucking hurting or killing one of them. They're really fucking stupid. So.
I mean, it went fine until the story started, so...
So it went fine until... Oh, okay.
Until the plot decided it wasn't.
I was gonna say, like I said, just wait until later where people keep getting killed and raped and shit like that, and we find out, oh wait, they actually have the Assassin's Creed living underneath the house, so...
Of course! Of course they do! It just makes sense.
Also, sorry, spoiler, anybody who listens to this, but I don't give a fuck.
Also, they do have the Assassin's Creed living under their house. It's called a cemetery because they're all dead. That explains their absence.
Anyways, can we just continue? Yes, we can.
Except when Lady Auburn comes to take them. Your family may have damned us by taking the four and executing them, but...
A deep heavy sigh again as the man seemed to bleed emotions. John just watched on, letting the fauna speak. Anyone else would have detonated the collar after he'd heard the words about killing him. But I should say that everything has a reason, and that there should be listening before judging.
I am grateful for the moment that I can serve. I wish...
The man closed his eyes, taking a moment to steady himself a little.
I wish I could have given the world a son like you. You are the pride of your family, and I wish not to see that wasted. Master John, I...
The man knelt a large thump as the halberd settled against the wall, his large body bowing forwards and hitting his forehead against the ground once, the respectful bow given 3 times. This is a fucking...
Oh, that goes on!
God, no. No. No, sweep shit. Fuck you. It was
There'll be lots of other weeb shit later on, like I said, when fucking John and Callie get to go to the Forbidden City or whatever, whatever Japanese bullshit it is.
Forbidden City is chink shit.
Yes, I know.
It was in silence that the man rose as he looked at him.
You will be safe. Your fondest pet would be upset if I let her master perish while she was not here.
He smiled. He could accept that sentiment, knowing that it was true. Yang would not be sad. He would be sad if he died before. Before he had the time to fully sample the platter Yang was. My one regret in life was not being able to pound that dragon pussy.
Dragon pussy, man. It's a hell of a
Fucking
thing.
dragon pussy.
Oh god, I shouldn't have said that.
Fucking dragon pussy. Also, good job, Courier. Thanks for the extra quote.
Dovahkiin, Nasindo sparring.
The little girl would very much enjoy that.
God damn it. Fucking son of a bitch. Look, she deserves head pats, okay?
The only thing you're... Well, yeah, she'll be getting head pats, alright. Pats from... It'll be pats from a head.
I'm not gonna be whipping her in the face with my dick like the guy in Redo of Healer does, okay?
Look,
Or Evil
Courier,
Healer.
she'll be getting pats from a head, not on the head.
I hate you.
And the pats will be somewhere they shouldn't.
I hate you. Fuck you. Just fuck you, you son of a bitch.
At that point, they're not pats, they're plaps. Get it right.
No, plap is the sound of skin on skin.
Let the love begin.
There's a bit too much length there for that to happen.
Alright, I had to finish that quote.
Scared let the love begin. Fucking Courier can sing that better than I can, because he can hit the high note. Skin on skin, let the love begin.
Okay.
He smiled. Yes, yes, yes. His only regret in life would be not fucking Yang. Thank you for your honesty, Mint. The man sighed as he grabbed a hold of his weapon once more. Zhao noticed the door open and the man resuming his solid snake as this food was brought in. Zhao glanced down at the auction stage, watching the final lot be walked off the stage. No, they're gonna be walked off the steps. They'll be walked off the curtain. Clearly. There would be a half hour before the next lot to be brought onto the stage, which was where he would be paying attention. Okay. Okay. Very clunky word in there, boy. Very, very clunky.
You don't fucking say.
Very, very, very clunky. I don't know how to say it. Yang joined them, the information about the purchases he'd made, making him look a little thoughtful, only responding half-heartedly about the vegetables, though he liked the sight of Yang eating meat. There was a certain glisten to her lips, a light in her eyes. Yes, it's called a fucking fat.
A what?
It's called fucking fat. The glisten on her lips, it's fucking juices from the meat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's also the, what's the shit that's called that leaks out of, cells, muscle cells or whatever? It's like that as well, probably.
Plasma, maybe?
Plasma, something like that, yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of...
I just make the food, I don't look into the science behind how the food gets made.
I only look into enough science to know that it works.
To know that it works and that this is fucking stupid.
There's a reason why neither of us are food scientists. If I was a food scientist, I'd be making a lot more money.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, that gets me thinking. I want to start teaching myself how to make confections.
It's a hard thing to do.
It's
Good
fucking
luck.
expensive, too. And that's the biggest problem. It's like, oh yeah, get all these ingredients together. How much does it cost to make one cake? Oh yeah, like $30 fucking dollars.
And also, if you fuck up even in the slightest bit or whatever, all that $30 goes to complete waste because you can't salvage it.
Yep. It's fucking chemistry, and I hate it.
I'm gonna say I wasted a lot of money making the perfect cinnamon roll recipe, and even now it's still not entirely complete. It's getting there though.
I have a pretty good cinnamon roll recipe, but it is literally just me flying from the seat of my pants.
Maybe
It's
I
like-
can give you mine sometime.
Oh yeah, it's like, this feels right, this feels wrong, this feels right, this feels right. And it comes out perfectly every time. Just...
Well, anyway, like I said, I'll give you mine sometime, so you
Maybe.
tell me how it goes. This is what this fucking fanfic does to us, folks. We're talking about making fucking cinnamon rolls and cakes over here.
Yeah, just wait until they start talking about how to make some good cream pies. Boom!
But I already know how to make custard. It's fine.
Custard's easy.
It's very easy. The bigger issue is the crust, and that's mostly because it has to be pre-baked and I don't have pie weights. So I have to figure out some other way to stop it from leavening, and that...
I was gonna
At
say, you
this
could always
point-
get pre-bought crust.
Yeah, I like making my own.
Oh,
that's
you're
the
one of
problem.
those people. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So usually what I'll do is sometimes I'll make a graham crust, but if I'm doing a wheat crust, what I'll do is I'll mix in a bit of marrow, actually. and the marrow keeps it from rising.
Well, the more you know.
Yep. Also gives it a very nice flavor if you're making like a meat pie or something.
Ooh.
A foreign slave should certainly vary about her master, indeed. Should I ask for another plate so you can eat your fill? The greedy look in her eyes told him volumes as he smiled. She was such a wonderful girl. We're getting another plate, Yang. I thought most deer were vegetarians. I guess there's no counting for everyone. It's because she's not a deer, you faggot.
Reagan.
She's a Durgan. A Durgan.
No, if she actually, I take that back. If she was a Deathclaw, this would actually be an interesting story.
Because she'd be lusting for his thick-spined penis.
Yes, very much so.
She'd be once destroyed by that fucking Dragon Slayer right there, my friend.
No, she'd be hunting for careers.
And get that bitch away from me. That fucking son of a bitch away from me.
What, you don't like Fallout Frontier?
No. Genocide those fuckers, holy shit.
Oh, so fucking aggressively horny. Oh.
Look, I was gonna say, we all know how Deathclaws are made, alright? You don't have to fucking involve us in the process.
It's actually likely they aren't made in that way.
I was gonna say I know they're not made in that way. They're actually what the fuck is the name of it? Ovivioparus? I can't fucking say it. Where they lay eggs for some fucking reason, even though they're based off of Jackson chameleons, which carry the eggs internally. But
Well,
anyway.
they're ovipositors. Yeah.
That's a discussion for another day.
Now is not the time for biology, even though that would be infinitely more interesting than this.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me one moment here. I need a cough. There we go.
We haven't gotten to Kelly though, so at least that's.
She smiled at him, and he felt a warmth go through him at the sight. She leaned closer, smelling him audibly with a sniff. I do like Master's big meaty stick. Makes us young feel warm and hot.
That.
Oh, Christ.
That physically hurt me.
It's an attempt at pillow talk from somebody who has clearly not had sex in a while.
Or ever.
Or ever. Like, who finds this fucking hot? I don't understand. It's no.
So that's the type of thing where you fucking talk to your girlfriend and think it's hot or whatever, and then she's like, "This is creepy," and then you're like, "Yeah, you're probably right. Let's stop doing this."
Yeah.
It's like a first date type thing you get through.
Oh Lord, it really is like a first date type thing with how long they've known each other.
Mm.
Oh Christ, on a bike. She was adorable, but he wasn't going to shame his fat. Get rid of that fucking apostrophe there. She was adorable, but he wasn't going to shame his family by engaging in something here publicly. She was sucking your dick earlier.
Yeah. And also,
In public.
I was gonna say, also, she's just a faunus. You've made multiple times clear. Why would anybody care?
Yeah, and also, didn't she literally suck his dick in public?
Yes.
That's what he just said.
That's what I just said. He wasn't a man who was weak to the seductions. You fucking liar! To the seductions of the flesh. He would resist the temptation, knowing that he was going to come home and make sure that his purchases were properly accommodated. Oh!
I'm sure you'll make sure they're properly accommodated.
Oh yeah, you're totally gonna fucking treat them well. Oh yeah. 100%.
Oh yeah.
100 per fucking cent. You're a good fauna. Wait. You're a good faunus, Yang. Mintz told me earlier that he would have liked to have a son like me. That comes out of fucking nowhere.
what the fuck does that have to do with her being a good? Fuck it, whatever.
That has absolutely nothing to do with anything else that they're talking about. It comes completely out of left field, and it makes no sense.
I was gonna say it does set him up as a narcissist, if that hasn't been established already. So.
Huh.
You're a good girl, Yang. Did I tell you that I'm a good? did I tell you that people consider me a good boy too? People really like me.
You're
For some fucking reason.
You're such a good girl. Did I ever tell you that that my guards wish that their children were like me? Did I ever tell you that everybody wants to be me?
Even though I'm the literal worst.
Did I ever tell you that I'm an actual god? I'm a fucking god. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
We all understand, Kitty. We feel the same way.
I desire violence.
We all understand, Kitty. We feel the same way.
Only 40% of me is violence yet. I need another 60%.
And said you want some help with that? I can fucking condition you.
I need an extra 60% of violence.
All comes back. It's like, hey guys, sorry, I've been gone for several hours now. What's been happening? Nothing? Okay, cool.
Violence! Oh boy. Oh
Paul,
boy.
are you still alive?
Imasu no ka?
Yeah, you
No, he
fucking
peaced out.
weeb.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gone.
It's just us three.
Yeah. Corpor's gone too. Oh well.
Fucking
Really?
weebs.
Hold on.
Fucking nuts!
I mean, Lyle's still here. He just muted himself, which means he's probably gone. Oh god, where'd the lead go?
What was you say?
Nothing.
Welcome back, fuckface.
What's happening?
Nothing.
Don't
Sorry, I
worry
fell
about
asleep.
it.
I was going to. He fell asleep. I was
Fall asleep, so we start yelling at you to wake the fuck up.
Well,
Wake
yeah,
the
I had
fuck up.
Mint broke down and cried and was like, I was going to kill you, but then I didn't. And then he was like, I wish I could give the world a son as great as you. And then Yang comes in and wants to suck John's dick, and then John's like, no. So that's all that's happened so far.
Jean
And
says,
he also awkwardly said,
No.
and he also awkwardly brought up out of fucking nowhere, yeah, Mint said he wishes he had a son like me. For no fucking reason and no
he-
prompting.
he wishes he had a son with a dick as big as mine.
Also, who the fuck is Melon?
I don't know. Hopefully someone who can put us out of our misery.
I mean, he is Merlin, so he's got that fucking, abracadabra.
Say maybe
Oh,
maybe he'll make your waifu for you, Cap.
He left immediately, so I assume it's just a guy that went to check out the server and then left immediately.
Oh yeah, he probably saw what was on here, and then he's like, nope.
He was afraid for the lack of Reich posting. We need to increase the amount of Reich posting.
But yeah, the way
Also-
fuck on.
Also, fucking courier, if I could, I would do, like, you know, every type of blood ritual and dark magic imaginable in order to make my waifu real. Don't fucking think that I wouldn't.
Alright, so the reason I fell asleep is because the way I have it positioned is that my legs can just, like, most of my legs are stretched over to the fucking bed, whilst I can lean back in my chair and just listen to Kitty ran on and on and on about this bullshit. And so at some point, whilst he was going through the fucking traumatizing bullshit, like right after that, I fucking fell asleep.
I mean, you know what? Fair enough. Sounds legit.
It'd be the first time you fell asleep at a reasonable time in, like, years.
Hey, I do it for a good cause, and it's to speak with you guys.
You consider that a good cause? Oh, my boy. My boy.
With how fucked my sleep schedule is, I'm not in any position to shit on you, but... eh.
Listen here, Courier, I'm fine with you shitting on my sleep schedule. At least I'm not depressed. Oh!
Well, it's nice that you shot on Courier when responding to me, but...
Thanks, Lyle.
Wait, did I say Courier? God damn it, I think
You betrayed courier. Now you must die a traitor's death. for the watch.
I mean, I
fuck
would take
my
a
life.
up sleep schedule in exchange for not having depression, but
Oh god damn it! This is the glory of just barely waking up is mixing people together. God damn it!
My glory is so great that insults bounce off of me and apply to those around me.
Hey Kitty, one of these days, maybe you could sleep at a good time, and then when you wake up, you just have empathy again.
that's never gonna happen.
No!
I know, but give him hope.
I killed my empathy, just like the rest of my negative emotions. Now there's only sadness.
And the need
And
I
if
for
mean, think of
all.
it this way: if Kitty was born in Nazi Germany, he'd be like a fucking next Mengele. So,
Oh no, I'd make Mengele blush.
see what I mean? Next
Add that
Mengele.
to the quote channel law. That's worthy to be.
Yeah, I'm adding it.
Oh, fuck. It was an odd feeling, but Yang... Get rid of the... Fucking karma! It was an odd feeling, but Yang Bradley smiled at him. It was a wonderful smile. The joy in her eyes, something that he couldn't stop himself from sharing. A smile on his lips as she shone like the sun. It was natural, of course, that the man had no heirs. Why? Wouldn't you want to breed them? Like, what? You've got this fucking loyal servant who's big and strong. Wouldn't you want to have him have a fucking wife?
No, watch it be revealed that he was actually fucking he's a eunuch or some shit. Just watch, because of course it would be in this fucking. It's just also tiresome sometimes, man.
Like, that's the fucking dumbest shit in the... Needless cruelty! Oh, Christ on a bike.
I mean, didn't
Christ is not
fucking
riding
what's
that
her
bike with
face?
Oh
Didn't fucking Saffron like mind rape Tara into like breaking every fucking ounce of original like thought she had? She just solely exists to serve now. Like
Yep.
everything that made her a fucking living being was just beaten out of her until she's like a sentient tool.
I was gonna say yep, and that will be made very apparent later on when she literally tries to start a religion surrounding her. So yeah.
Oh boy, the next fucking thing. Most fun is post-processing. We're neutered. I'm sorry.
Fucking called it.
Why?
Reasons. Fuck you.
You're going to neuter your cheap fucking labor force.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
Yep.
Jesus fucking Christ on a bike. This is so stupid. It's
No,
like
Jesus has left a long fucking time ago.
You stole that one from me. Anyway,
I said it first.
so Kitty, what was that about making Mengele blush when you can't even accept this kind of stupidity?
Look, man. I will figure out the exact temperature at which the human eyeball freezes. I only need, like, 400 dead Jewish children to do it.
But yet this is making you stop in your track.
Ladies
it's
and
fucking retarded.
gentlemen of the stream, I do not support any of the views that Kitty holds. I'm just letting you know right now.
Me neither. I regularly just like talk shit about him about this kind of shit.
Oh,
I do not
come
support
on.
this at all.
You think I'm being serious with this? Oh,
I counter with, I support them all. I support them being sent to the fucking feds.
oh, if you want me to be serious on the Holocaust, that's another spicy topic we can't get into.
The numbers are not real, Mason.
The numbers, what do they mean?
I'm sure my friend from class would love you.
Oh, oh, you'd be surprised at how well loved I am.
By Jewish people, oh, I'm sure Jews just line up to just suck your dick all night long.
Given that
my sources are all Jewish museums and historians and such. Yes!
Let's get back on topic.
And census
Let's get to
data
the
produced by
extermination.
them. It's alright.
I can just tell for a fact too that Kitty's gonna get canceled. Just watch.
That'd be hilarious.
Being canceled
no.
requires you getting started in the first place.
Yep, you need to actually be known. Nobody knows him, luckily.
Thankfully.
For them.
And if you somehow do know us, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, all one person watching this probably right now, just get out of here. Run.
One
Please
did
get
not
better.
wish to have them be aggressive and bite and hurt their master. The shame of having someone's daughter ravished by a faunus and begetting a child by them. ... Disgusting.
Except for that one time your sister was raped by a fauna, so I guess they forgot to neuter him. Oh wait, that's a plot hole, never mind.
Yeah, and the whole thing that I kept fucking saying is the reason why Mint doesn't have a fucking life and stuff is because he was a eunuch. Yeah.
That is
I didn't even fucking remember that shit, and I was like, yeah, that's exactly what fucking happened.
retarded.
Yes, it is.
So fucking retarded.
Yes, it
It
is.
all makes no sense because it is written by someone who does not think. He just write, and he not write good.
He not right good.
He don't write good.
He no write good. He remember. Wait. It was for own good. Techniques improves his abolishment of right. Most male faunus were sent to work field where they rage out their frustration until they were fit to work. Go get out in the fields and punch things until you're calm.
Listen, it's like the purge. All you need to do is have one day just punch pillows a lot, and that will fix all the problems of crime.
Oh,
Yeah, that's worked wonderfully.
Faunus
in this
Fight
universe,
Club.
I can just tell.
It's Faunus Fight Club. You don't. Rule number 1 of Fight Club: don't talk about Fight
Talk
Club.
about Fight Club.
Oh fuck, we need to watch that sometime. Oh
Anyway.
boy, great movie. 10 out of 10. Very pertinent for modern day. Everybody should watch it. Must watch.
Ah, yes, I love me some toxic masculinity.
Balls deep in that whiskey. Good job there, Kitty.
No, I haven't poured myself a whiskey and coke yet. That's the next drink on the list.
Oh, are we allowed to drink while streaming?
Yes.
Neat.
You think they don't do that while fucking on like EFAP or whatever, Smudcast? I'm sure they fucking do.
Dude, that's like a big point of a bunch of HoloLive VTubers. Like, Coco will just get drunk on stream. Callie will drink wine.
Well, who?
Calliope, the fucking Reaper
Oh,
chick.
okay.
Gouda. Gouda's a little whiskey gremlin too.
Hey,
It'll be
don't you fucking bring Gura into this massacre of like horribleness because she's a precious little shark.
Man, I would love to
Jack.
fucking have her sit in and listen to this. That'd be fucking hilarious. Like,
Yeah,
No,
like,
that,
is
do not even entertain that thought. She does not need to be exposed to this.
I would love for her to just listen to this kind of bullshit and be like,
you got no idea the sort of shit that Gouda was into before this.
Oh, she was
becoming
fucking
Gouda.
Karen.
Oh yeah.
Gouda
Fucking-
is a precious little shark, and she needs to be protected from this kind of shit.
She was just, well, right now she's just pretending to be a nice and nice and fluffy girl, and she is, but she wasn't always like that.
Listen,
She is a nice and fluffy girl, and also she's incredibly small. 4 feet 7 inches. She is tiny.
you
She needs to
see
be protected.
the truth once she gets a little bit of alcohol into her system. Then she becomes the little Scottish gremlin that she is.
I think it's hilarious.
I was
I
gonna
thought
say
it was
my
fucking
sister's or
hilarious.
my fucking cousin is about that big too. So
I thought it was fucking
God.
hilarious too that when she was talking about it, when she mentioned her height and shit, that fucking whenever she goes to like a place where they serve alcohol, they fucking just like give her child drinks like juice and shit.
I am a 30-year-old woman. Give me the good stuff.
Give me the Wait. Give me the whiskey.
like,
I'm a
she also-
30-year-old woman.
And then she's like saying that like fucking people give her free candy and shit.
I
And
mean,
everybody in the chat's like, girl, don't go into the white vans.
and they give me candy and stuff. I take it, but I shouldn't because I'm like 30.
Yeah, it's free candy, so why not?
Free candy. I mean, free candy. Why say no?
It's like fucking Mike, yeah. It's just guy handing out cake in the bathroom, man. It's free cake, so fucking take it.
It's free cake. Free cake. Don't ask where it came from. Just know that it exists.
But would you eat it in the bathroom though? What the
Yes.
That was the joke.
I'm pretty sure that's a joke in Fairly Odd Parents. Like, which door did you come up from?
Look, man. It's free cake. Don't question it. Anyways. Wait, so let me get this
Wait,
right. They
can we
castrate the
skip-
men and they don't do anything to the women.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
They castrate the men and they just leave the women to function, do their thing.
So are they gonna breed these fuckers or not?
Apparently not. Apparently all the faunus that are being born have male parents that are humans.
Does this mean that the faunus gene is like
It's being diluted with superior human genes. They're being
is that-
fucking bleached.
no? Kitty,
Remember again too that they do fucking blood purity tests and shit.
So
no, Kitty, you're missing my point. Is that if all their parents are human, but they become faunus anyway and are seen as lower class citizens, that means that there's no process to their genome disappearing, meaning that the faunus trait dominant every time,
yep.
which means that they should, biologically anyway, just become the entirety of the human race, just dilute it all if they weren't
Yes.
so fucking competent.
Because nobody fucking puts any thought into this shit.
And I'm not even that big into the whole genome bullshit when it comes to fantasy. But this kind of shit where the entire point is, yes, we will breed you, slave. And they are so infatuated with being either human or faunus, you'd think that they'd actually go into that.
Yeah.
But no, apparently not.
Go into like the fetish shit of it, of like eugenics and all that.
Oh no, the moment we go into the eugenics part, then it becomes a spooky concept. Because, oh no, it's just like the Nazis.
Yeah, the Nazis ruined eugenics.
But were they wrong?
Yes.
Also, don't come in here with that fucking Bob Shipman shit. No movie Bob allowed.
saying
Are
the
we the
Nazis is
baddies?
wrong. I was gonna say saying the Nazis were wrong makes you Bob Chipman. All right.
No, you...
No, it's Nazis ruined eugenics is something he has unironically said.
I know.
That's why I say get out of here with that Bob Chipman shit.
I'm just happy to be sitting here eating ice cream while fucking this. At least I can get the small comfort of ice cream.
Is it Neapolitan ice cream?
No, chocolate.
Terrible.
Terrible.
I do have
generous.
Neapolitan ice cream, and I also have the one that's the fruity one. I can't remember what
You
it's called.
put it on your dick and jerk off.
God
No.
damn. God damn, Kurt, you nasty. You nasty.
You know, we talk
I
about
mean,
creaming
Courier-
things, but
come on.
that's a really specific interpretation of that saying.
Well, Courier,
Anyways.
I got one better, man. At least I don't use my tears.
Christ. This is just getting worse and worse. Let's continue.
Okay.
You come swinging at me, I swing back, boy.
Yeah, problem is your swings don't exactly connect. Anyways.
He's making an attempt.
You remember the vision where he had been counted like an animal? A cool look entering his eyes as he looked at Yang. She was not going to hurt him. She would love his family as much as he did. Summer approved of her, and that was enough for him.
Master, are you disgusted with me? Yes.
She sounded pathetic, and he willed a smile to his lips. It wasn't gonna be like in the vision. The ox had been castrated. No, I was just thinking about what happened in one of Camillea's visions. It was it was a softness of her eyes as he saw some It was a softness of her eyes as he saw something in their depths, a roaring blaze that was warm as this day. A softness in her eyes, a roaring blaze that was as warm as day.
God, that's a terrible sentence. Also, why do everyone keep bringing up that fucking vision? Oh no, that's a vision.
How can somebody's eyes be soft like that? That doesn't make sense. That sentence does not make sense. It doesn't work. We're not even
Her eyes soften. Or her glare soften. Something like that.
Okay.
Her pussy soft.
Don't think about
Nice,
sex.
Courier.
Trying to fucking entertain myself, alright?
I know, but it's not helping. It's really not helping.
You know, we get fucking 2 sentences in before we lose track again.
Yeah.
And we just go off the fucking rails
We're gonna be here all night.
all fucking night.
Assholes.
Don't think about swords. I'm going to be there with you until the end of your days, or so my name is not Yang Zalong.
About that.
Okay, describing her fucking voice, because that's fucking retarded. Mint, please go and order another serving from me. I seem to be feeling peckish. There was a sound of confirmation as he squeezed Yang's hand, looking into her eyes. It was normal, he supposed, as he looked into her eyes and then leaned forward and gave a soft peck to her lips. Not the passionate kiss that he wished to, but he had to manage himself. A young man like him just going wild with a fondness would not be received well, though not many boxes were high enough to make out the occupants of his own box.
What?
A man making the noise of getting his scrotum just kicked in.
Oh no! She licked her lips, her mouth close to his ear. What? What?
I am many to confuse.
He kisses her, and then immediately her mouth teleports to his ear. Okay.
Teleport that you.
I'm going to make you think that last night was a bad nightmare, and the Yang dream is gonna beat it up and make it a good mare. A fucking good mare.
Kill me.
A fucking good mare.
What's wrong?
Where's my sword? Where's my sword? Where's my sword? I need my sword. I need my sword.
What's wrong with the sentence, Casey? Come on, explain.
A fucking turning a nightmare into a good mare.
I need my sword. There's my sword.
I don't see a problem. Explain.
Okay, I think I know what Katie's trying to do right now. He's getting his Crusader helmet, he's getting his sword, he's getting his tricycle that has like the fucking horse head, you know, put on the front of it,
No,
and he's gonna go on a fucking crusade.
no, I'm just taking my sword so it can comfort me in this garbage.
Oh, watch you cut yourself halfway through this fucking thing. God, all of a sudden we hear, ow, god damn it. Because you're playing with fucking swords and knives and shit again.
Look, just because it's not sheathed doesn't mean it's gonna cut me.
That's a fucking line.
Jesus Christ, Kitty. How many times have we told you not to play with sharp objects and fucking shit that you cut yourself on?
No
Too
comments.
many times.
It's pointless, just stop.
I will do it anyway.
Look, swords are good for my health. I've never cut my hand on my swords. Yet.
Yes, because you need gravity to do that.
And there's 6 feet of it!
That does not mean anything. You need gravity to cut yourself on something like a sword.
Not really, not if it's sharp enough.
Alright, at that point, why do you even have it on display?
I don't, it's a battle weapon.
Keep going, please. It's been an hour.
How far have we gotten so far?
Nowhere.
Like,
We're not even a fifth of the way through.
we're like almost 20% through.
Oh, thank God, we're almost 1/5 the way through.
Don't worry, I'm gonna start skipping shit. Just because this is
I was gonna,
way
oh
too
yeah,
fucking
now I remember what I
obtuse.
was gonna say. Just skip all the shit that's not interesting to read.
It's so fucking
And
obtuse.
And there's the shit that's just repeating stuff we already know, which seems to be a real fucking occurrence in this fucking thing.
Well, then we'd have to skip everything.
No, Korea, let's play a new game. Let's see when they're gonna tell us something new. That's the new game. Find something new. In 200,000 words, there has to be something.
It describes her voice being sweet, slaves being brought out onto the stage, mostly males, some females.
Oh God, we're still at the fucking auction. Jesus Christ.
Yes, this is Auction Part 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Oh.
First lot up for auction was unimposing, the girl lead scene. Oh yeah, so fucking Scarlet, or Velvet is there.
Oh boy.
She's been amputated. She's...
You want to read that specific shit?
Go on.
Scarlatina Velvet. Amputated trait, rabbit faunus. What?
They cut off her fucking ears.
Yes, I know, but that's so fucking poorly constructed. Age 18, mute and docile. Second-hand goods due to inability to please owners during formal gathering.
Mutilated her for entertainment.
I guess she didn't quite make the cut. Oh well.
Christ.
And keep reading John's dialogue after that.
Did John say that?
Yes.
Yes.
Keep reading John's dialogue after that, too.
Keep reading.
He could feel pity for her if it had been a beauty like that. But it was a rabbit faunus. It's not like people have a fucking massive fetish for rabbit girls or something.
You remember the Christmas critters from fucking South Park and how demented and terrible they were? I really hope that they just like come into existence and just brutalize the author. He deserves it.
You know, it's like
Oh my god.
Keep reading.
it's
Keep
a good
reading.
thing that Corper isn't here. He'd lose his fucking
I was
mind.
gonna
over this.
say he hated.
He would
say
lose
keep-
his goddamn mind.
Keep reading, Kitty, because John goes on about rabbit faunus.
He knew that those would be easily bought for their fertility. She could put a few litters on the world before someone would give her the mercy of death. That was how things worked. So she just have some random human fucker now give her babies and then kill her.
And John's okay with this.
Yeah, like at some point you gotta question like none of these people have empathy. They're all sociopathic monsters. Like even the worst people who existed in real life don't have this much of fucking monstrous outlooks on life.
It's full fucking dehumanization.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
was going to say,
selective.
which is funny because, you know, it's not like they're fucking sentient creatures or whatever, sapient creatures who you fucking keep having to convince yourself are not human. So,
No, here's the problem. I don't mind dehumanization in characters. I do mind, however, inconsistent dehumanization.
dehumanization, yeah.
They can't. Simultaneously can't keep it straight whether John is a horrible monster that doesn't care about people, or whether he's a
She
sick,
is.
or whether he is a well,
Sissy
can't
bitch!
decide whether he can't decide whether he's a shielded person that really likes people but wants to be the big guy in the family, or is he just a psychopathic piece of shit that doesn't give a shit about other humans suffering as he does here.
It's pretty fucking obvious. Like, why are they fucking putting him on a pedestal for, like, Ash and shit, saying that he's such a nice person, yet he thinks like this? He's incapable of fucking saying that this shit is wrong, so why are they fucking heralding him as somebody who'd be better for them as a fucking, like, whatever
Because he
position
doesn't
that
do
he's
it
supposed to be in?
himself.
The problem
Jesus
is that
Christ.
he makes him out to be good when he wants to praise him, and makes him think that what's happening is great when we are supposed to be reminded that slavery bad. And we are supposed to feel bad for Velvet, so him saying, "Oh yeah, this is how things go." It's supposed to make us angry, but it's just this fucking... This back and forth is what triggers me. Anyway, let's get through this.
You wouldn't hurt me like that, would you? His pet asked, and he shook his head, watching the girl slowly fade back. Oh yeah, she's just fucking fading out of existence, apparently. Okay. One bid had been made, a man who he faintly recalled as being in charge of something with the linen factory, no doubt willing to make a quick buy for something to use in the factory. Oh no. Slaves with functional hands could still work after all. I mean, I guess. No, you're a good pet. She squeezed his hand, his eyes fell on to the next one. Scroll giving up, boop! And the status of the next one came up. A deer faunus looking lithe and slight in her build. Her steps skittish, the hooves that she had for a trait looking horrible below her legs. Clearly this fur fag is not a fur fag. Pathetic. It was amusing to hear one deer comment on another as he smiled. The deer girl jumped a little when the bids started to come in. The commoners bid first as the more menial faunus were pushed through the stage's line. It was a slow line that proceeded. Number 41. A woman with a set of cow udders hanging from her stomach went off to a well-known dairy producer. Oh, it was an animal product, so faunus who held such traits were carefully maintained. 3,000, not a bad price for a slave of that caliber. Number 42. Number 42 is the one he's looking for. Yeah, it's Callie. Belladonna, Callie, cat faunus, space, age, :41.
Excuse me? The fuck did you just say to me?
Belladonna, Callie, cat faunus, space, age, :41.
Oh. Bullshit, alright. I get it.
Warm personality. Ability to conduct Mistralian tea ceremonies and domestic tasks.
So she's good as a bed warmer. Got it, thanks.
I was going to say also, Kitty, because fucking he bases Mistralian in this stupid universe off Japanese. Do Japanese tea rituals usually involve force-feeding aphrodisiacs and then rape and then orgies?
That only happens in Japanese adult videos.
Yeah, that's about it.
No comment.
I want this man to burn.
Hey, you
No,
and me
I
both,
can tell
buddy.
that you...
Hans,
I can tell
fire
that
up the
you
fucking furnace.
No, we can clearly tell that you love this offer by your cheery tone.
Nobody bids on her.
Yeah, of course they don't, because just
Literally nobody bids on her, and now he's like, oh yeah, I got them all together. Ha 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 ha. He caught them all.
Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon!
You actually gonna read this, Kitty?
No.
Read it.
He talks about what she can do in the house, and that she's not gonna
Read
be
it.
fucking worthwhile.
Read it.
I'm gonna start reading it. It's fine because he
The
fucking
man-
refuses.
The man's experience as someone who is able to write and speak the high speech was at least something that he could use. His father acquiring a scribe from time to time, Ash no longer as fit as she was. Tara had no skill in
Fuck
the art
even are
of
you?
fine calligraphy, so he hoped that the man would be able to do some of the tasks for him.
Where the fuck are you?
Huh?
Did you skip halfway through the fucking chapter? Where the fuck are you?
No, I did not skip halfway through the chapter. I'm literally 2 paragraphs after the fucking description of Callie.
Master, will you let them be happy together?
No!
No.
He looked at his slave, giving a brief look at the retreating Cat Faunus. Right here, brother. Yang frowned at him. Faunus weren't legally able to marry, so it must be a brother. Yang tilted her head lightly. Mate, he's like a human coupling, like your mother and father. He gave a soft sound, but didn't quite understand. They had no rights, so why would they want to get married? Because they're monogamous?
You know, people can want to marry even if they don't have the quote-unquote right to marry.
Also, Kitty, considering what Gira does later, they're not monogamous. So.
You know that fucking slaves did get married? It was like surprisingly common.
And their
Like I
masters
said.
didn't care. They actually kind of seen it because usually the marriage and stuff was considered religious and stuff. So they were like, that's fine with us.
No, Cap, they were sponsored by the masters.
Yeah.
It was one of the fucking legal requirements on them. They had to allow their slaves to marry and have children, and that they were supposed to give them a proper marriage and ceremony around it. It was a legal requirement.
Imagine being a slave owner and seeing the legal requirement to allow your slaves to marry.
Anyways.
Real history is so much more interesting than this bullshit.
Oh, fucking history is so interesting. And history is so much less interesting if you go through it in that preferable black and white narratives of, oh, this what happened was all bad because reasons. Like, no, motherfucker. It was fucking wild. And in a very, very good way.
I wouldn't say slavery is...
Gira has to die.
I wouldn't quite say slavery was wild in a good way, but it was certainly wild.
Well, I mean, wild in a good way is in, even with the practice as horrible as slavery, they had rules of conduct and things that you were expected to not do under any circumstances.
There's a key difference between having rules, though, and actually following them, so...
True. Very true. But yes, let's continue. They talk about them being mates. Would that make it able to be annulled? Some divorces happen, and whilst it's not accepted widely, it's illegal. She looked offended at the suggestion. His face turned worried, but she smiled with a soft and understanding smile. No, to be smiling with a soft and understanding penis. It was not something that he could imagine before, but she seemed to be understanding that he was not knowledgeable in the faunus biology.
Only in
biology
death.
is customs.
Only in death, and most prefer to seek death after their mate passes. It is rare to find the one you have been waiting for, master. My father found the one, and she left.
He remembers Raven. She said that she was sorry to me. than nevermore. She called me Ty. I think she is your mother. He hadn't told anyone about it, but he could tell her she was the woman's daughter, blah 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 blah, about being ready to fucking Raven. Yang says that Tying resembles Jean, blah blah blah. He smiled at his pretty deer faunus, more fucking kissing and looking at her boobs for some fucking reason.
Keep in mind, they're also still in public around a bunch of people.
Still in public, surrounded by people at a fucking auction.
And he's just
they're
fucking
in their own private box or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they have their own box, but he's just fucking ogling her tits. That
As
it's
you
all
do.
he's doing. As you do. You know, just like fucking white girls at a petting zoo will ogle the horse dick.
Mhm.
Just wait till you get to that chapter, kitty.
No,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
you'll
make
be
you
jerking
read
off.
that chapter, kitty.
Yeah, you'll be jerking off all through it. I know you're excited.
No.
Might just be preference. He wasn't complaining about Yang, not at all. He's not complaining about her. Better off than Dad. It was silly talk, he knew. Yang speaking softly. Yeah, so she says he's better than her dad, and he's like, oh yeah, she's just teasing. She's like, no, I'm serious. And then he fucking goes back to the one who's on stage saying, oh yeah, she's gonna give somebody a headache with those with those speckled flanks. He's looking at her fucking spotted ass cheeks. The ones who had fur weren't super I'm sorry, what? The ones with fur aren't super popular, eh?
Surprise.
The Astartes would like to have a word with you. What, brother? I think we can all agree that she's kind of hot, brother.
Brother, she's kind of hot. Sometimes I worry what will become of my sisters. He's worried about his fucking sisters getting raped. He pulls Yang close and he fucking hugs her. Some elephant chick comes out and she's like walking sexily or something. Next one is a redheaded chick with fucking war paint on her. A set of horns poking through her short hair, almost cut in boyish, spiky style, and he could hear Yang give a deep growl. He tipped the icon and looked at the facial features. Clear blue eyes, a pretty face that looked beautiful to the eyes. And then the rest. Eve 321-586.30, cow faunus, age 23, virginal, expected to produce milk, slightly rebellious, second-hand goods owner deceased. Okay, so she's got a fucking barcode. Starting bid of 4K, hits a button, he goes to 5K. He remembered the events of before. Anger blazed through him, remembering that man's face as he had been castrated like some unworthy man. So yeah, he's bidding on Adam's sister.
What the fuck?
Hey, you don't
It's
know
a
what a
thing.
monster you can be, little ox. Yeah, he's gonna fucking mind break the ox's sister. He bids on them, bid goes up, he wins. They're like, oh, she'll be made meek and compliant, she'll serve you, master. And he's like, oh, yeah, this is gonna be great, yeah, our number 88, my dick's so hard, yeah, and then we have a fucking break. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm not into faunus wool. Wait, He caught sight of the redhead departing the stage. The next one on stage, a dumpy-looking sheep woman with a really fluffy coat of fur. He checked it and then gave a little cringe.
Yeah, I'm not into funest woman.
The bidding war erupted below. Who's into it? Okay.
Furries, man.
Courier, it's your turn.
Yeah, boy.
You expect me to read that when you didn't, like, you expect me to read when you fucking read nothing? Okay. No.
Yeah.
You don't.
No.
You just do the same thing.
No. I'm playing Subnautica, fuck you.
Oh, you're playing trash.
If Subnautica is trash, then you have no tastes.
Read, weakling, read.
No,
Fine.
I'm fucking annoyed.
Fine, I'll
So
wait
no.
till we get to the Cali part, and I'll make you read that. She moved with a smooth grace, following her another attendant in no time. Who is moving? I have no fucking idea. Oh, it's Yang. She was here in the rule of me. You're doing him. It would be extremely really I can't. No, in one of the other gathering holes for the slaves. She caught sight of the redhead moving towards the side, shifting in one of the corners and looking generally glum.
You coming your way?
Your slave is situated against the wall of death, and the other one is death. Feel free to inspect them. Okay, he appeared from her attention, going to another slave. The collars that the slaves here wore, specifically decked out with the explosion that would only take off the head, which made refusal impossible. What?
Oh yes,
Still
the
was
ones that
impossible anyway.
the ones that explode and take off the head, but take like 10 minutes to trigger, so you literally could just fucking disable it if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, or kill and
Fallout
rape the
slave.
humans.
Fallout slave probably worked way better.
Oh, absolutely, because they exploded immediately. So.
Look, you're just gonna stick it on America, and she'll be a happy little sex pet.
Yeah, we already know that you played that mod extensively, Kitty.
Actually, no, I haven't. I haven't launched New Vegas in like years.
Don't insult New Vegas by comparing that to it.
But it's a fucking mod for New Vegas.
Yes, and it has nothing to do with the base game, so.
I would have to launch New Vegas to play it, Courier. That's what I'm
The
saying.
story in the base game, you fucking dinglebat.
And you're fucking taking what I said in the wrong direction. Christ on a bike. Not so confident now. Feel free to inspect them. Attendant disappeared from her attention, going to another slave. Explosive collars. The cat faunus was in friendly animated chat with a tall blonde bunny. Something seemed to lack in her spirit, a certain whisper that seemed to speak of sadness. The woman's back was straight, turning around slowly to show a set of boobies that looked modest enough, at least if Yang compared them to her own. Nothing too big, she'd imagine. You gotta get those booba.
Fuck you.
Booba. Are you here to inspect her for your owner? The woman's voice was soft and polite, sad but still there. The bunny faunus perked up a little.
Yeah, boy. Let's get ready.
Hi, my name is Lola. Oh my gosh, I was so happy that I got bought. Gee, I was wondering whether that'd be a last time bid. And yeah, I can't remember which number she was, but it was clearly something that must have pulled a bit if the chatty nature seemed to be there. No, I was here for you, lot number 42. My owner wishes to see what you are like. The cat faunus looked a little surprised, but covered it. The bunny faunus, with her floppy fucking ears, seemed to dilate a little. She fucking dilate.
Let's dilate.
Seemed to deflate a little. Yang tried to give a comforting smile, but it wasn't to be, as the bunny faunus drooped off. Oh. Callie's talking.
Oh,
Boy.
could you could you tell me a little about your owner? I mean, if that's allowed. I used to serve an older
Stop
gentleman, someone
Just
who
stop talking.
died recently, so I was not sure.
Do you prefer to read?
I can let you read instead, Courier. Fuck.
What's it gonna be?
Those are your choices. He fucking deafened himself. Oh boy.
Let him be courier.
To be honest, man, Broken Fangs is one of the few things that just makes me question, like, how is this person considered a human being? They should be like some separate subspecies, like the fucking kobolds or, take candle creatures from fucking World of Warcraft. They should be
The
considered that.
kobolds.
Yeah.
Yes, Cap, we call those Americans.
Oh, Christ!
You know what the funniest thing is about that, Kitty? This author is not even from America, so you can't use that as an excuse.
Yes, and we have people like you from Canada, so that may be even worse. No, maybe that is worse. So.
I mean, it is Canada, so.
Yeah, because you're the worst of fucking Europe, except you pretend to be Americans.
No. In fact, our problem is that we pretend that we're better than Americans.
Yes, and how does that turn out for you?
That's fucking stupid. Our shit doesn't work. Anyways. Her master was the best. She smiled roundly, thinking about him. She knew that she would remain professional when the master was someone who still brought that smile from the depth of her heart. That's a very nice smile you have there, dearie.
Well, back being different.
She was drawn from her thoughts of the master by the woman who seemed to be smiling gently and encouragingly at her. There was a sadness in the woman's golden eyes, something that didn't seem to go away so easily. I was a week and a bit ago. I had a cruel owner who threatened to take fingers if I did not make the quota. She had helped the woman up bad. Her twin daughters would feel the tide turn, and because there was no way the Yang Xiaoliang would let in retribution slip from her fingers, they would pay for every insult they had given her. An understanding look on the woman's face as she laid a hand on Yang's arm, which had crossed below her boobies. The hug almost instinctual. And he bought you for his own home. She shook her head, and the woman, daughter, was a nuisance, but this woman seemed kind. There was always a tale somewhere. She wasn't ashamed of what she had done to survive. I tried to offer him my services, but he had 2 funds with him, so I figured he'd be a quick 50 lien, enough to make the quota, but then she looked at the woman. He's from a big family. When he said his name and that he'd get rid of my collar, I fainted. To lose the collar is to be dead. It was sadness, but it was sweetness too. He had meant it in the fashion of removing her previous owner's collar and placing his own collar around her neck.
Speedy Gonzalez.
But he But he didn't. You're his slave now. That's good, I think. Is it? Do you get a place to sleep amongst the other slaves? Yang blinked. She hadn't really thought much about the living arrangements, except that she'd rather not be where Blake was. Blake wasn't good for the master's penis. Oh, you can't make this shit up. Oh yeah, this girl, she's not good for my dick. She makes it wilt. She gives me ED. Stupid cat, trying to act stubborn like she didn't want it. It was a gift. A gift that made her come. It's not even the right kind of come.
On giving.
It's a gift that made her come, as in come here. As in move closer.
Sorry, what's been going on? I've had you all muted for like the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, we can tell.
Don't think
Why'd you mute
about
me? I'm not the
it.
one participating in this shit.
Look, he just deafened himself because he doesn't want me to represent Callie as a withered old crone.
Yes, he also doesn't want to read himself, so...
I was going to say because he never gave me a chance to, you fucking piece of shit. So
I did. I asked.
no, you didn't.
I said, Courier, now it's your time to read, because it's fucking Callie scenes.
Well, I probably had you fucking muted, you dumb cunt.
No, that was right at the start of this, and you said, no, I'm not, you didn't read the last part, so I'm not gonna read. I'm playing Subnautica.
Yes, I was going to say, and then you said I'll fucking have you read the Cali shit, and I was like, fine, and then you just fucking just went over it, so.
So you're gonna read the part or not?
Fine, you fucking cocksuckers. Fine. Fuck every single one of you. Hope you all die.
No, I have to get the Brit to do it first.
I don't even know where the fuck we are. What the fuck are we?
Control
As
F.
you can see, we are all friends here.
Control
I hate
F.
every single one of them, and I hope we all die.
Okay, so Control F. I tried to offer him my services. That should only be used once. If it's used more than once, then there's a problem.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Tried to offer him my services. He had 2 Faunus with him, so I figured he'd be a quick 50 lien, enough to make the quota, but then she looked at the woman. He's from a big family. When he said his name and then he'd get rid of my collar, I fainted. To lose the collar is to be dead. It was sadness, but it was sweetness too. He had meant it in the fashion of removing her previous owner's collar and placing his collar around her neck. But he didn't. You're his slave now. That's good, I think. Is it? Do you get a place to sleep amongst the other slaves? Yang blinked. She hadn't really thought much about the living arrangements, except that she'd rather not be where Blake was. Blake wasn't good for the master's penis. Stupid cat, trying to act stubborn. Like she didn't want it. It was a gift that made her come, spelled incorrectly. It all made perfect sense to her, even with the cat having dung for brains. So, actually, I share it with his first pet. My name is Sunny. The woman smiled softly, something resembling affection in those eyes. She'd used the Australian lesser pronunciation of her name because people responded to it better. The woman's husband seemed to have. That's fortunate. He must really appreciate you if you get a room to yourself with just a single roommate. I am Callie Belladonna. It's a pleasure to meet you. She didn't know whether Blake could count as a roommate. She was more a nuisance than a roommate who continuously spoke of rebellion. That was just a bad survival tactic. Yeah, really fortunate. Well, all I can say is that he's the best thing that happened to me, ever. The woman smiled, the sadness in her eyes still remaining. It was a deep, dark depth of despair, a feeling of loss. My mate was up for auction as well. I have not seen him for 3 days when we were brought in. I'm sorry, dear. I'm glad that you have found an owner who treats you decently, or that treats you decently. Yang supposed she could tell the woman that her daughter had also been enlisted in the ownership of her master, but Blake didn't deserve that. Not yet. There was too much that she could say. Secrets. His family doesn't like Faunus much. There is this old faunus, a crocodile. She's the one who wields power over the faunus as the father of my owner's major domo. The cat faunus woman's eyes blinked. She seemed genuinely confused by the sudden information that her master was relatively young. He's young? Oh my, you must be lucky. I remember when I was but 19 and I met Magira. Pull and to sneak into his tent late at night, surprising him with my bare body and a smile. Yes, I'm sure. And then he had to fucking marry you to not embarrass his family because he really fucking loves you. Trust me, Callie. She smiled softly at the image. Her tongue slid over her lips, and she could imagine the master rising to meet the intruder. Blake's mother smiled softly as she regarded her. I will have to make the best of it. Your master did not waste much money on me, old woman that I am. Shut the fuck up. Yang personally guessed that the crocodile one was much older than Callie Belladonna. No shit. Ash seemed to have had that feeling of being like her dad sometimes, but like old in comparison. Wow, what a sentence. Her smile was still on her face as she felt the woman's touch go up her arm a little. There is another, though. The master bought 2 female slaves today. Blake's mother's head turned to the side, a soft expression on her face. Shall we go and greet her? I hope she's not old like me. Shut the fuck up. Your master deserves a fresh blossom in his bed. I am too out of practice to be much good. I wouldn't think my godmother would accept that so quickly. She made a non-committal sound, striding over to the bovine faunus who sat against the wall, her knees pulled up. Yang's eyes looked over the features that were on display. A little skinny, she supposed. Breasts were nice and full, perhaps a little rounder than her own, but not oversized. Raise your head, woman. The woman raised her head to look at her, and Yang met blue eyes that looked a little duller than before. There was something that seemed lost, a hope that was not there to be found. Eve, a soft whisper of the name as the woman looked at Yang's companion, her eyes widening only marginally as she saw the feline faunus woman's form, the faunus giving a downward look, looking at the ground. No shit. Eve, we were worried. When Adam returned alone and you weren't found, anger in those eyes. Also, this doesn't make sense with the timeline, because fucking Blake's parents, Callie and Gira, turned themselves into slavery or whatever right after the thingy revolution ended, and yet this fucking son of a
Listen, this is like one of the most accurate parts from show to fan fiction. The timeline makes no sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because they turned themselves in, and fucking turned themselves in like right after the rebellion ended or whatever, and yet Blake ran off or whatever with the rebellion for a couple years, so they wouldn't have known any of this. Whatever. Anger in those eyes, something more than anger, as hopelessness squashed it once more. The ox looked at Callie Belladonna with an expression that lacked hope. No shit, a fucking look of hopelessness. Of course it lacked hope. He sold me, all because of the desire to be the voice, to be that stupid revolutionary. Adam Esau Taurus sold me, his older twin, Adam Esau Taurus sold me, his older twin sister. Bitterness in her voice as the faunus looked down at the ground, her features looking like they'd been broken. The woman seemed to have been a slave for years, but her body was still unmarred, worthy for the master. I'm sure that it's just a mistake. He would never... He's commanded us before, but we never had cause to doubt. The woman's eyes swept up and bore into Yang's own, defiance, something that was akin to rage in them, a fading spark of a proud woman. And what is this? A deer I sold for 20,000? Has your gormless master sent you to fetch his pretty little milk cow? Do I need to move for you, do a little dance? I don't think I'd mind a dance. There's some beauty in dancing. The ox looked at her, the horns that curved up, much like her brother's horns, looking fierce as if she was going to gore her. Callie spoke up then, her voice hesitant. Why would he do that? Gira and I went and resigned ourselves to our fate, choosing an owner who would not overwork us. It was the old law, not these new ones. The redhead looked at her still, waiting for an answer, but not getting one. She sighed, turning her attentions to Callie. If you want, I can speak. You can get out, if you want. That would not be allowed. There would be no revolts around her master again, except for the 47 more that will continue. She looked sharp, getting ready to strike if the woman used the voice to silence her permanently. No matter what, the ox would not be able to speak to those who had been bought to instigate a revolt. What would it fix, Eve? We would be dead. My mate would be dead. The redhead woman shifted a little, Yang catching sight of her The redhead woman shifted a little, Yang catching sight of her untrimmed bush as she spread her legs somewhat and then pushed herself up to her feet. Imposing and taller, the woman stood, but she nevertheless did not back down. You still haven't answered me, little dear. All in bold, using the voice or something. Has your master sent you here to fetch me? She looked at the woman and then shook her head. She would not answer out loud as the redhead's eyes looked at her. There was a tension that seemed to shoot through the body of the woman as Yang resisted the compulsion. It was negligible, if unexpected. No? Damn, I guess I'm out of practice. It's been years since I spoke. I wonder if Spanky is still kicking up a fuss. That cat needs to learn that she should think of the future. Yang didn't know who this Spanky was, but it most certainly did not curtail to her current orders. She had to ascertain whether they were suitable. The Belladonna woman got a pass because she was decent and friendly. The ox. So what's your master's plan? Is he going to put a baby in me by a breeder, or does he plan to get his little dick wet himself, huh? Looking at you, you look like you walk the streets on your off days if you don't make him happy enough. Those implants must have cost a lot, am I right? I don't like you. She pressed her lips tightly together before she understood the look in the blue eyes of the redhead woman, the eyes that were supposedly the window to the soul, according to some people's weird sayings. One that told her that this woman would be worse than the cat in her master's bedroom just to fulfill her wish of dying. She wants to die. That's a shame. She felt pity for the woman, mustering a smile. It wasn't her best, but she could understand the hopelessness and the fear of not knowing what tomorrow would bring. The despair that you felt when you had to be what the owner wished you to be, contrary to your inner thoughts. The master might have a plan for you. I do not know of it yet. I was sent here to verify that you would be agreeable. It was the truth, and the woman frowned, crossing her arms below her breasts. The painted skin made her look more like a milk cow than anything else. Who the fuck is texting me? Okay, sorry. Yang noticing that there was definitely a bigger size with proper feeding for the woman. Damn, at least she's not like the cat. She would have been upset if Blake's personality had been matched with bigger tits than her own. That just wasn't fair. The sad cat shouldn't be sexier than herself, yeah, but she has a better ass than you, so... The master might turn into a depraved homosexual with a sexy cat with such an attitude. That was not allowed. Okay, well... You got what you wanted. One cow faunus and one cat faunus. Going to get a horse faunus to round the whole menagerie out, or does he only fuck the real thing, huh? He's had me, he's had Blake. No, I don't think he's into that stuff. Yang shifted her manner of standing a little, mirroring the woman. The redhead looked at her, a challenging look on her face. No, it was a look of penis. Yang did not respond. She had an image to convey to the people around her, to the slaves around her, that she was not an impulsive woman. No response, eh? Does he kiss you when he fucks your weak-bodied self, or do you just kiss his ass, you domesticated little weakling? She would not show weakness in front of this faunus, no matter what she said. A smile on her lips blossomed, her eyes lighting up. I haven't done the latter yet. Perhaps I will, when we have some time. My master is important, but he shows this slave appreciation. If her master asked, she would do anything. Her mate would be trusted to the same degree as she trusted herself. She felt that need rise as she looked at the woman. The soft exhale as another challenging statement erupted forth. I bet he's some weak little spoiled human with a little dick. Does it even touch your sides, or do you just have to fake your way whilst he moans? Little bush skipper. She would not grow angry as she might have under other circumstances. This was not the privacy of the master's home, nor was it safe enough to fully vent the frustration. She remembered something, her lips curling into a smile. Did your brother not fuck you to keep the bloodline pure? You must have been one failed product if he sold you off. There was anger in the bovine faunus's eyes, the redhead's skin flushing. Emotion was weakness, or so it was touted, but there was some beauty in the flushing of that skin. No, he would have wanted to, but I was still his senior. He couldn't denied me, but when he sold me, he made sure to insist that I was kept modest. Yang scoffed, shaking her head. The man who had claimed the title of Ox had not been something to enjoy if she had him as a client. He would have been enough to have her going through the motions, moaning at the right place and giving him something to remember. But repeat visits, yeah, she'd have to get creative. With the master, it was filling. It filled her. The master is more of a man than your brother. He was. He had a good dick and a nice set of balls. Tonight was going to be great. The brother of this ox had nothing, just a gaping space where his manhood had been. She had denied him the greatest gift to the world. The woman gave
Got
a
a
non
transgender surgery.
I don't know. No, Yang tore his dick off, remember?
I know I'm making a joke because he's got a
Okay.
gaping space where his dick was.
Yeah, okay.
It's gaping.
The woman gave a non-committal sound, looking unconvinced. She sighed slowly. I'll know it when I see him, I guess. Is he... strict? She shook her head. Not to her, not to her at all. Only to the other pet. She keeps calling him a rapist. I really don't like her. To me and the others, he is kind. Much different from his sisters and his mother. Someone coughed softly and Yang's gaze turned to a petite girl standing there, her hair a deep maroon color, a set of curved horns stuck up like antennas, curled backwards. I'm sorry to interrupt. They told me that I was to inform you that I was purchased by your owner. I'm number 88. She could see the traits of the big man in the girl. She was aware that the other two women were giving the girl looks too. The girl shrank a little, uncomfortable by the looks. You're all scary. Yang laughed, shaking her head. She jabbed a finger at Callie, still regarding the girl. That's Callie, and the grumpy cow over there is Eve. My name now is Yang. Technically, it was the truth. She simply omitted her surname. It was etched into the back of her collar, but that was covered by her hair. Nobody really would check the collar without any sort of forethought. What? Nobody really would check the collar without any sort of forethought that she wasn't who she pretended to be. The smile on the girl's face looked a little brighter as she looked at the three of them, trying to come forward but not quite managing to do so. Is it a good owner? Yang thought so. Callie and Eve did not seem to be convinced yet, but they would. No, Callie. He's not. He is. He should be here to retrieve you and the other slaves he purchased. The girl nodded. Yang thought that she'd probably be a little older than her, around 20 to 21. Smallish breasts stood out, crowned with pink nipples. The girl licked her lips. She looked a little concerned, but Yang smiled reassuringly at her. Also, who's the degenerate now, Yang? Good. My name is number 155031. I hope that'll name me. I'd like to have a name, even if it's just 15. There was a shared look between Callie and Eve and her. They had a name, at least. To have a name, even if it's just a color that was picked, was something that you could use to introduce yourself. I'll see whether I can inquire with the master. The genuine smile made her feel a little stab of something in her side, wondering briefly if she looked like that as well. Sometimes it was just so hard not to smile at her master and know that he was the one who needed to be loved and given her world. The nameless often were desperate to be given something to cling to because they were just a number. We'll take care of her whilst you return to the master, Yang. The motherly tone of Callie immediately took over, as even the ox shifted herself to a posture and body language. Yang made way towards the exit, passing by several of the faunus that hadn't been sold. The general demeanor in that group was not very great, and she walked unceasingly towards her master once again. You're back. How were they? She smiled. The cat's mother looked like a reasonable sort that could keep her daughter in line. No. Even if the reinforcement would need to be applied frequently, no. The ox was someone who was hurt, yet who had kept her spirit intact as well as her chastity. That might have something to do with her being the ox, though. Suitable. The ox will need convincing, but I am sure that she would be able to serve you well, master. He nodded his head as his hand brushed through his head. His head nodded as his hand brushed through his hair. He smiled at her with a confident twist to his lips. Let's go see my slaves, Yang, he suggested as he got up, the auction looking like it closed up. Looking like it closed up, fucking son of a bitch. She couldn't wait to be home again. She wanted to make him feel wonderful tonight. Her man was a man. She felt challenged by the assumption that he'd have a small penis. That beef sandwich was getting her pussy split open by the master for even daring to insinuate that he held a small shaft. Your turn, kitty. Kill me.
He didn't like the smell of unwashed bodies much, and the smell of filth and foulness mingling together. With Mint and Yang at his side, there was nothing fair. The foulness parted for him. The sight of a human owner undoubtedly here to inspect those that he had bought, not a single foulness remaining in the sight. He pushed open the man's quarters first, his hand feeling the grimy texture of the door, mentally making him a note to wash his hand after he'd got into a washing room or something. The smell of man and sweat in the air making him blanch a little. He's getting bleached.
I was gonna say that is a word. It's not used in the correct context, I don't think.
Yeah, that is not the correct context at all. This is blanch as in, like, Blanche. The French word for white. Make him white a little.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like if someone gets like queasy or is shocked or something. That's no.
Like, just say cringe. Cringe!
It was cringe, father.
Cringe!
Father, it was not keck. It was cringe.
My slave's furnace. His face was unbending and unflinching as the servant looked a little skittish. His fingers snapped once, and Yang produced his crest, the furnace nodding once as they neared the tall man who was currently seated, the blond monkey fauna sitting at his side, still chattering away. He caught sight of the look of the others, stares giving off at his Yang, and he didn't like that much. These are your slaves, sir? He had an image to maintain. Of course, he looked at the monkey furnace, noticing the little excited look on his face. Up with a little hop. The monkey looked like he'd be better off in a circus or something, excitedly looking at them.
Oh, so you're the master dude, right? Oh, your dear was well praising about you, so I just wanted you to see what you were like. Gira here isn't much of a talker, but I hope you don't mind if I just... are we getting new collars? I mean, I'm not ungrateful, and you probably were intending to put me to work to make sure that there's stuff done, and I don't know. Well, if you feed me, I'll be...
He shook his head. Auburn most definitely wouldn't mind a personal furnace attendant. She was still his sister, and she was a little strange. As long as the monkey lasted, she could have him. It had been fixed, after all. You'll be the attendant to my youngest sister. She might enjoy a little monkey to play with, I suppose. He could see the confusion on the monkey's face, the furnace looking at him with a look that might have been crestfallen if he had been human. You know, dogs can have crestfallen expressions too. They can look sad.
Dogs, cats, turtles, I'm sure if you look hard enough.
In fact, we specifically bred them to be more expressive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I gotta look after a little kid. Can I work? Can I work in the fields? I'm not great with kids.
I mean, fair enough. Fair fucking enough, man.
This, you know what? Mad respect. Like, okay, just make me a cotton picker, please. Like,
I'm not good with kids, yeah.
I suck dealing with kids, just make me a cotton picker. It'll be easier for both of us. Like, shit, man's honest.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have bat-breaking labor.
I was gonna say, Sun is... Now that I think about it, because I couldn't fucking remember, Sun might unironically be, like, the best character in this fucking story. I was going to say Callie, but then he ruins Callie, so...
Mitch spoke up, his voice showing something that might be anger and frustration. Care for the girl that had always been strange, perhaps. Jean hadn't known that they knew each other well, but then again, Auburn wasn't a frequent guest in the household.
Mistress Auburn is his older sister. The master has many sisters. No gratefulness for being assigned to a domestic task, child.
Oof! The man sounded stern as Jean's gaze went to the other man, who looked up slowly. Golden eyes met his own, and they widened slightly, much like his daughter, Jean could imagine. Blake having that same look in her eyes when she was witnessing something. Oh yeah, she just, like, whenever something happens, her eyes just widen, like, and they bulge forward like fucking telescopes.
This person knows how cat eyes work.
You will become my major domo. I have need of someone to handle the domestic issues around the household. The man's eyes were tired, but there was a strange fire in them as the man shifted into a kneeling position, not moving too much as his head nodded in acceptance.
As you wish, Master Ark.
Something felt off about the man.
No fucking shit, you retard.
But Jean did not dwell on it too much. There was too much unease in him right now to really worry about one gut feeling. And as he nodded, the man had undoubtedly seen the crest of his house and had drawn the confirmation of who he was from how Yang responded.
Don't worry, John, the next time you see him, he'll be raping your sister to death. It's fine.
Alright, I'm back. After dressing out a bit, I'm finally fucking back.
Yeah, nothing. I was just commenting on fucking whatever the story was like. John did not have a good feeling in his gut, or he had like a gut instinct that Giro was like not a good person. And I'm like, no, John, it's just a feeling. You don't need to worry about it. It's not like the next time you'll see him, he'll be raping your sister to death or anything. No. Don't need to worry about that.
Oh shit, brah, you're an arc? Oh, your arcness. Don't take that the wrong way. I'll be a good faunus for your sister, man. He fixed the monkey with a gaze, the monkey kneeling clumsily. A soft hissing breath escaped his own lips, knowing that this monkey wouldn't be too easily manageable. Well, if she doesn't... If she doesn't like you, she'll let you be raped to death by animals! That's what happened to the previous one. He had muttered that a little too loudly, and the monkey paled dramatically, looking at him like he'd seen something terrible. Auburn did as Auburn did, and it was a gift for her. But she does that? Hey, your masterness, does she do that? For real? He had to present an image of strength, so he made sure that he had the right attitude. His eyes looking into the monkey faunus's eyes. The spiky blonde hair looking a little matted in the lighting as it came closer. Speak with me with such disrespect again, and I will have your tongue cut out and served as the meat to the other slaves. His voice was carefully restrained as he firmed his facial features into a look of strength, just as his father had taught him and his mother had coached him. A man was strong. A man did not bend the knee. A faunus slave had no rights to question their owner.
I would have drove a knife up through his chin to the top of his fucking head.
Okay. Apologies, Master. I didn't mean offense. A good apology? No, it's not. So he supposed that that punishment wouldn't be necessary. He did not think that it would help much. The bright and sunny demeanor came back after that moment of seriousness as his lips curled into a light smile. Good. You'll be transported with my other slaves today or tomorrow, when I receive the official papers and deeds to your collar. The massive panther faunus gave a soft cough to get his attention.
Am I allowed to say goodbye to a woman I am fond of, Master Ark?
He supposed that would be something akin to a family reunion when they came to his home. It wouldn't matter much since he would be reuniting the man with his daughter as well. I don't think I can allow that, faunus. There was a look in that man's eyes that seemed to be anger, just like Blake. There was fury in those eyes. Mint stepped in front of him in case the man did something aggressive. Jean didn't really like the fact that he was smaller than the man, whose stature was huge.
Thank you for your consideration, at least.
Oh,
The man would be
I just realized.
reunited with his wife either way.
oh.
What did you realize?
Oh, I just fucking skipped forward because I'm trying to look through for more plot holes, and I skipped forward and I connected dots and I realized something, and I'm like, no.
I'll explain when I reach it.
What did you realize?
I was going to say cow. Oh no. Oh no.
Cow no. Interesting.
I was going to say, Callie just didn't get double teamed by fucking John and his dad. Callie also got double teamed by John's dad and John's mom.
I mean, why not?
Dave?
I fucking...
Look,
oh my god.
based and, dare I say, red-pilled.
Fuck you.
Hey, nothing like a family double teaming the filthy faunus, am I right, guys? No
I hate
slavery.
you.
No slavery, bro.
I hate all of you, and I hope all of you die.
I'm with Courier on this one. At some point, even my willpower gets eroded by this shit.
That just means you're weak. The man's glare would have cowed him if he didn't have Mint here with him. It was a look that promised pain for suggesting it, but it softened immediately. Faunus were strange creatures, and the man had most assuredly been properly treated for the aggression urges with his nature.
As you wish, Master Ark. Whatever you desire, this slave will do.
His face was kept stoic as he nodded, his hand running through his hair again.
I will ensure you that you are penned in a room before transport. I hope you will enjoy the company of your fellow slaves.
The man nodded, clearly not too dissatisfied with the arrangement on the surface. Jean thought it might be nice to make it a surprise. Faunus could be grateful if Yang was any indication.
Mint, Yang, we should check up on our little cow.
The door was still grimy, and he really should keep something to clean his hands. As he entered the women's quarters, or rather the space where they were kept in, the smell was even worse. He mentally made a note to buy some perfume for under his nose or something when he visited these places. It stank.
My slaves, Faunus.
The attendant made her way over to where his purchases stood. An older, womanly fauna standing at the side is a pair of horned faunus, one with short bovine horns that curved up, the other with horns that looked much like the horns of Mint, getting up slowly. His face was set in the passive look that was required as the servant faunus left, their task already completed. Here you go. You're up again, Courier.
No, after that revelation, no, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Okay, dearie.
Fucking, you know what? It's better to make Callie an old hag. At least I can disassociate her. If you do that, do it, please. Just fucking do it. I can look at her as an old hag and just disassociate and be like, okay, this is an alternate universe, alternate reality, Callie. It's fine. It's not the same. God.
Are you the master that Yang spoke of? I'm sorry if I'm rude, but I'd like to know how to address you.
His station would not allow him to smile, aside from some obvious enjoyment of misfortune.
Ah, yes, you're not allowed to smile unless you're laughing at the suffering of your slaves. His eyes looking at the bright-eyed girl before he closed his eyes. He looked at the bright-eyed girl before closing his eyes. Quick solution. Easy.
I am the inheritor Ark, and I've bought your deed in order to make use of you.
It was the formal words, a soft look in her eyes as she didn't seem to quite understand. His eyes turning to Mint. He could see a similarity between the horns. The man's looking at the faunus. It wasn't hard to make the connection.
If you want to speak to her, go ahead. You're related, I guess? The horns look similar.
The large man nodded. The horned girl, though he supposed it would be more of a woman, since she was older than he was, giving a look that looked actually touched. You're related to me? The large man nodded, his face full of emotions. Tears visible in his eyes. He inched just a little bit closer to Yang as the large faunus man took the girl a little ways away, starting to speak in a soft tone, the man's eyes meeting Jean's own with a look that was thankful. They
almost looked human, as if it was just an older man speaking to his younger relative. It's the least I could do. His attention turned to the two women, the older one approaching cautiously. Her nose twitched and her eyes fixated on him with a look. You smell like my Kira. Did you see my Kira? He missed the master arc from that sentence, but Faunus, that weren't properly respectful, had time to be trained. Ash was a great trainer, together with Artemis and Helena. Apparently, they would be able to create miracles in conjunction with Camellia. I did, yes. She looked a little nervously at him. There was a question in her eyes, but it wasn't voiced yet. She seemed to take the time to muster her courage, opening her mouth. Can I see him? I'd like to see my man one last time before I am. I'll be obedient, no matter what. I want to see him one last time, Master Ark. After that, whatever you desire is my command. It was a plea that he could not deny, his lips twisting in the smile that held little warmth, but was as warm as he could make. In private, he was not able to keep the emotions from his smile, but here, where the eyes of people were on him, he had to make sure that he did not stray from the etiquette. I have purchased your mate as a major domo. I think that Faunus will work better when properly incentivized.
Kitty, are you okay?
No!
Why not? What's wrong?
Reasons.
Are you mentally ill?
Yes. By definition.
Yeah, I know that's a given, but what's wrong?
The happiness radiated from the woman, her eyes sparkling with the hope that made her almost look human. His mother could look like that too when his father came home. There was always something nice to be had when a father came home. Thank you, Master Ark. I will do what I can. The redhead, who had remained silent for the time being, spoke up. The paint on her body looked like it could be washed off easily as she stepped forwards. And what do you wish to do with me? Make me a cow in your stables, provide you with milk? He could see her brother in her features, the flash of that vision, the burning pain in his groin. His eyes looked deep into her own as he stepped up to her, his eyes looking into her own, defiant, strong, a dash of hope.
Did just say he walked up to look at her?
Yes. Defiant, strong, a dash of hopelessness in them, something in them that would not yield easily. Do you know why I bought you, Eve? A deadly tone to his voice as he could see the hateful visage of the man who'd threatened to take his sisters from him and make him be rid of the world in a mad quest for power, something that was wrong. Why would the animal... Don't fucking laugh! I just break if you do! Why would the animals need to be freed when they have such a life here? Life was better than death. She challenged him with a gaze, and his hand grabbed her by her neck, fingers touching her throat. She did not look away, her blue eyes looking into his own with the pride of someone who held lofty thoughts about themselves.
Go on.
I happened to meet your brother. I heard his proclamation, too. All humans will face justice. He remembered what had been said in the visions. He remembered Yang's words as she had delivered the cock and balls to him and his sister. She had been a good Faunus.
He could see the look in those blue eyes change, something that was anguish and defiance in them, shifting to deep despair. Break, little ox. Oh no, that stupid, stupid idiot. His lips curled into a smile, one that Ash would use when she was getting ready to punish a faunus. He'd seen her do it once, before she had become aware of his presence. The woman had looked sad for an instant, for but a moment, before she broke his spine. Before she'd pushed him out of the door and told him to go find his older sisters and play with them. Are you going to cause a riot, Eve Taurus? Are you going to call for the humans to be raped, to be castrated, and to be the ruler of the faunus? Give me one moment.
They deserve to be. Actually, everyone in this story deserves to be. Never mind.
The world needs to be cleansed in nuclear hellfire, and not the good kind like they had in Fallout, which made a lot of people have cool mutations and shit.
I was about to say, I gotta look at the Fallout world and see, this is shit. I'd rather live here than say, I would live here if I was forced to. Here? Nah, just nuke it all.
Would you...
Nothing left. Scorch earth.
Do you really want super mutant faunus? That's just a bad idea.
The super mutants weren't even created by the radiation. That was FEV.
Yeah, that's all mutated creatures in fucking Fallout, Cap.
No, not all of them.
I'm pretty sure it was FEV.
Not all of them, Kitty. Or do you want to start arguing with me about Fallout to a guy named Mad Courier 6? Do you really want to do this?
Choose your games carefully.
You know what? I don't give enough of a shit about Fallout to actually care.
Okay, good.
Yeah, there we go. Now let's continue.
There was fear in the woman's eyes as his grip tightened. She did not force him away, his hand holding her tightly. Her eyes met his own, and she shivered, her breathing picking up. She felt fear as she came, but he could tell. She felt fear because of what he had said. She knew who he was, at least. My brother does not speak for the faunus as a whole. His dream of revolution is fading hope. He squeezed her flesh some more, groping them titties. The woman quietening. He motioned for Yang to come closer. There was no feeling in him of joy as he looked into the woman's eyes, a hand wrapping around Yang's shoulder. The line of the ox has been ended. Your younger brother will never procreate. As he fled like a coward, his cock and ball torture were left behind.
Oh no, not the CBT.
CPT, cock and ball torture.
His cock and balls were left behind, torn off by my hands. You are the last, Eve Taurus.
Wait, that was Yang, but I don't fucking care to fix it.
Who gives a shit?
Spoke up, her voice adding strength to his words as he slowly exhaled, the woman's bladder voiding. The woman's
Really?
bladder
Just finish.
voiding itself. It was fear, he knew. He could see it in her eyes. Yang was a good furnace, but Eve was born bad. He took a little step back, aware that he would probably get campus on his shoes. But that mattered little. The shoes could be
Thrown away.
thrown away when he got home.
Oh, just a juxtaposition. Thrown away. Thrown away! Like when the narrator's like, fuck, what the hell am I reading?
You castrated the ox. Wait. You castrated the ox?
Yes, it will castrate too if you don't shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you'll be castrated too, woman.
I hope it does happen. Honestly, that would make it less painful.
Make it a lot easier for her and us.
Tiny Bear thought his voice was fearful as Yang gave a sound deep in her throat, an affirmative. There was an arm that suddenly wrapped around his waist belonging to Yang.
He wanted to harm my master. My world will not be darkened by an unwilling child who knows not what he touches.
The father seemed to understand something as he looked down at Yang.
You're my primary fondness, Yang. I thank you for your obedience.
His smile slipped into that warm smile which she met. She was innocent and she was pure.
No, she's literally not pure.
What's this fucking fanfiction's definition of pure? It seems to throw it around a lot.
She was like the sun and nothing else mattered. They were turned away from the majority of the slaves, so it wasn't important.
It is your doom, master. When you die, so shall this world.
He smiled and rubbed his
Somebody
hand,
kill him quickly.
stroking between her horns. She smiled and nuzzled against his hand, his pet looking so wonderful that it was almost too easy to forget she was just a phallus.
Harm him like your brother, and I will do terrible things to you. There will be 3 rather than 4 if you'd harm the master.
The redhead looked away, her expression demure and silent. As she exhaled slowly, her thighs glistening with the urine she'd released, the smell really strong in the nostrils. But alas, such was the fate of someone who wished to inspect what he'd bought. The paint was starting to run down her thighs.
Anyway, guys, I'm going to go to bed. I'm fucking tired. I gotta work tomorrow.
Okay, boy.
Boy.
Have a good night, Kitty. Have a good night, Lol.
Night.
Have a good night, Courier. I can tell that I can tell that even though I say that though, you're not going to have a good night, Courier. So
The night's
I'm
already
sorry.
been ruined.
Yeah, a night was ruined. Any fun that was had has been ruined by
I was
cyanide.
gonna say not even by this fucking chapter, but by that revelation that I had to fucking have later on.
Yeah.
The old people
It-
get
it's
together
just-
and all fuck each other. It's normal.
It's just depressing. It's just depressing too because after watching Black Dynamite and having so much fun with that,
We
like
gotta
that
go
was
to
such an
this.
amazing thing. Yeah, we had to go to this and all the fun and happiness that we had just dies.
Yeah, it just lied down and died.
Look, man, German swingers, they're almost universally over 40.
Oh, why we gotta go into this?
Anyway, have a good night.
Kitty, just shut up, please.
I
Why
just
did
make it worse for
experience
you.
that?
I just make it worse for you.
Listen, I've seen the fucking covers of those German porn movies in the room my parents go over across the border. I know that that's the kind of shit they're into.
Kitty, if you ever wanted to experience what it'd be like to have your fucking intestines ripped out and shoved down your mouth, shut up.
Oh god.
Do it.
This is
I guess this is the part where I say I'm at your service, Master Ark.
He and Yang nodded at the same time, and the Ark's woman sighed softly. She rolled her shoulders, her breasts doing
Interesting.
things. There was much to be said about a woman with a good set of boobies on her body.
Rubbish.
Everybody likes those boobies.
Rubbish.
why do you sound like Johnny Bravo when you say that?
Everybody likes those boobies.
Rubbish.
Mmm.
Thank you very much.
We just big fucking children whenever it comes to shit like this.
Rubbish.
Boobers.
Uh,
Everybody likes
anyway.
theirs boobers. Everybody
You like a
likes
little
theirs.
ass with your boobies. Gotta.
So what I'm actually doing to do this voice is I'm physically pushing something up against my throat.
What the fuck? Are you
Is that-
choking yourself or something?
Kind of, yeah.
He actually gets off to autoerotic asphyxiation, so he's gonna end up like David Carradine, and I'm going to cheer.
Cool.
Do you not know who David Carradine? Okay.
Otherwise, I wouldn't ask.
He's I was gonna say he was a famous B actor that starred in a lot of really terrible movies from the 80s, and the only reason anybody remembers him is because he died of autoerotic asphyxiation. So. Died jerking off.
So, the reason why I do that is because it slightly constricts the vocal cords, meaning I can do a higher pitched voice without it hurting.
Oh, so it's literally just a personal aid, alright.
Yeah, it's just a personal aid.
Oh.
It's like consuming helium. Except I don't need to breathe in a balloon, I can just do it like this.
You sound like Stitch.
Who fucking
Stitch is
knows?
too cute for him.
Really? You gonna
Okay.
call Stitch cute? Was he
Okay.
just mouth wide, just laughing like a fucking demon?
Yes.
I don't understand why Americans think that Stitch is cute. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I don't understand why Canadians are fucking retarded and speak French, but you know.
Okay,
Why
we
do
don't.
you speak French, Kitty?
We don't call those Canadians, we call those Quebecois.
Excuse me?
Sure.
They're the
I
French.
know, oh, literally just Franks?
Yes, the people who speak French are Quebecois. People from Quebec.
You've even, what would that be? Languagely segregated your own people into
They-
Canadians and French people.
No! That's how this country's always been! It was literally
Why?
found... Okay, so, from the very onset of Canada, half the country was literally the French people and the Anglos.
I just said,
Yeah,
fuck
you
the French.
all call yourselves Canadians, you fucking dingus. So.
No, the people from Quebec have never considered themselves to be Canadians. They've always considered themselves to be French first.
Really? You think
Yes.
they did this with you, Kitty?
No.
You
Again,
sure about that,
they
Kitty?
have wanted independence for centuries.
They need to pull up historical documents describing attempts to get independence as Quebec state.
We have put down multiple rebellions where they tried to get independence, and we just said, fucking no, have a vote. And then they didn't have a vote, and they just went and said, no, we're independent now. I was like, fuck you, no.
Okay, keep wasting our time with this, it's fine.
Oh, cheer the fuck up, Courier. We're almost done.
No, I can't.
Okay, we're doing this now. Baby. Baby. I envy you, girl. I really do. What you found there is the woman's hand brushed through her hair, about to say something more, but she froze, her eyes looking at him for a moment longer, but not quite seeing him. There was something in her eyes that was strange, a little something that made her look awkward and younger than she appeared. Her mouth moved slightly. Push your master away. Wait.
Push your master away from you.
The words sounded a little hollow as she looked at him questioningly. He should say something, but he didn't know what to say to that odd request. Her voice had warped a little, something in it different from her regular tone, and the woman looked at his face for a moment. Look at his face before a look down at Yang was given. No response from either of them. Yang's eyes narrowed and her hands brushed against his cheek as she turned her head, awkwardly correcting herself when she noticed that she'd done that.
Thanks for that pointless detail there, Senator.
I guess that won't work. Do you like me?
He watched her and raised an eyebrow. He caught Callie looking at him oddly, the cow faunus giving him a look, waiting for an answer. He blinked a little, not sure whether the answer would be to her liking.
Well, you've got a nice set of tits. I like that.
The woman gave a soft sound that might be a laugh as she took a few steps back and then did a formal standard bow before someone of superior ranking. It was more traditional than he had expected.
I am at your service, master. If your pet can show such devotion to you, I guess I'll follow her lead. The irony, gods, the irony.
It was easier submission than he'd imagined. Yang gave a little smug smile, stepping from his arms and then to the still bowed Eve, seizing one of her horns and then turning around.
This one will be suitable for you, master. She knows her place, or at least thinks to know it. She will know.
He didn't quite get that reference, but if Yang vouched for Eve, that was enough to him. It wouldn't be something that he'd make a major fuss about. Eve seemed to relax a little as she straightened slowly. The woman looked a little quizzically at the happenings. Did you just
Le happening.
Did you just swear yourself to him? Eve Taurus glanced at the woman before she nodded lightly as if it was done. Disbelief showed on the older woman's face. Yang had devoted herself to him, he guessed, to see this woman do the same with something faunus like, he guessed.
Hey, you just had a stroke reading that.
Thank you.
I don't know who talks here, so I'm just gonna...
Just read it.
I don't know who the fuck talks, man. Who the fuck talks during this?
Who the fuck said that?
Who the fuck said that?
He got rid of someone who shamed the name. No matter who he is related to, he is owed by my lowered head. It is not the world that has been before, Callie. If he can treat his faunus with such measure, he's a worthy man to lower my head to. My brother's actions have only caused division, something that shames your grandfather and the mother who bore us into this world. It was interesting to see what went on with the faunus, but he cleared his throat. The smell of urine was itching his nose. He really wished to take a trip to the bathroom to get himself a little cleaner. He didn't like the smell of pee.
Very well, Yang. Let's go. Very well. Yang, let's go. I've still got to sign those deeds of transfer. You can get more intimately acquainted when you're at the house. Yang...
No, that doesn't deserve an ooh.
Yang smiled a little at him and then grabbed the woman's titties, squeezing them together. A womanly sound coming from Eve Taurus's mouth. It was a sight that was not unpleasant to see, even with how Eve's back arched. You can move for us sometime, Eve. He didn't know what that was about, but Eve looked at him and gave a soft nod of her head, her eyes darkening a little. He gave her a terse little smile, which was reciprocated. She balled her hand into a fist and then mouthed something to herself, the whisper lost in the murmurs around them. Have a pleasant day. Furthermore, master... Callie Belladonna, the mate to his major domo-to-be, wished him such a thing. A grumbling in the other master's mouth. He didn't respond, except for a little nod, Yang giving the ox a gesture of a finger over her throat, 2 fingers pointing at her eyes and then at the ox, a little nod of the head as the woman's gaze turned away. Callie started to chatter on about how cute it was to see a deer getting... and then they were out of earshot walking towards Mint. What was that all about? His pet smiled at him and he wondered aloud, Mint coming into hearing range.
Sat upon the fields just watching. It was the war, but we were still freed. Your mother said that she would like to have a child one day, but when we lost, it was all over. Master Ark, can you name her? Her mother's name was Judith. Fuck you, Judith. A questioning look as she looked into those
Pretty
eyes.
cool.
She's going to have to be named AC/DC.
Mm-hmm.
It was a questioning look, blah, blah, blah. Esther.
Questioning penis.
You can be named Esther. He could see the happiness in her eyes as she smiled. It was a nice smile, even though the girl was plain. Uncle says that you will be a good master. I am to look after a mistress called Auburn. What is Mistress Auburn? Oh, no. Oh, poor girl.
Skin on skin, let the rape begin.
He wasn't sure whether he could say that she was a little crazy. That she frightened him, but he could say that she was his sister and she loved him. She guessed that Auburn just got herself 2 pets. He hoped that they'd last a little longer, though. So, is Sun castrated? That's the real question.
Yes.
Oh,
I'd assume so.
Oh, I was gonna say all faunus are, or all faunus males are.
Poor boy. He doesn't deserve that.
Yeah, he doesn't deserve this kind
He
of
doesn't
cruelty.
deserve it.
I was going to say it's a plot point later or whatever, because Gira, for some fucking stupid reason, wants Sun to fuck his daughter, marry his daughter, or whatever, and Sun's like, I really don't want to do that, and Gira's like, you will do it or I will kill you, and he's like, okay, fine. And then he's like, well, how are we going to have any kids? I don't have any balls, and then he has a magical jar of something that restores...
Magical jar of ball restoration.
I don't fucking know.
A magical jar of Testaresto.
I mean, yes.
So,
Unironically, yes, Kitty. He has a magical jar of Testaresto.
wait, what? I just realized, couldn't...
Also, Hymen Resto, it does everything.
So we got Bolsa Resto, right?
Mhm.
Isn't there then by extension a Dick Arresto?
So being
I was gonna
gelded
say,
isn't
Lau.
that big
Not
of a
only is
fucking
there,
deal.
not only is this ball Arresto, not only is this dick Arresto, it's also like Hymen Arresto too. It does everything.
It's just Generesto.
Alright, so what's the problem with them tearing off the balls and dicks of Adam?
Because you only have a limited amount of it, or some. Actually, no. Now that I think about it, no, that's another plot hole. Good point, Law.
There's really no
I'm just
fucking
thinking
reason.
that if you can do it to a guy that's been castrated, like balls cut off entirely, and you got the same thing for a dick and a hymen, why could you not just do it for both?
I
and
don't
just
know.
get the superpower. Like the guy that has a superpower, give him his superpower back and the ability to read. No, not read, breed.
The ability to read.
Read with his dick.
He needs his penis to read.
I would unironically not be surprised if it became a plot point that a dick can get memories from people it fucks or enters.
The dick steals memories from those it fucks.
Yeah, I would not be surprised at all if that became a plot point at one point.
Space
Also-
Marines can
also, lol,
absorb
yeah,
people's
that's-
memories through fucking them.
That's a
I
plot
mean, that
hole.
is canon, Kitty.
I was gonna say that's a fucking plot hole now that I think about it, because what I was going to say is they do try to make it out to make it seem like extremely rare or whatever, and that there's only a limited amount of it, this magical juice. But then we have a flashback where Adam, like I said, date rapes and then unknowingly gives Blake an abortion or whatever, and then he also feeds her some of that juice or whatever to restore her virginity.
So
And
it's super rare, except it's not rare enough for him not to have it, so he
Yeah.
could throw himself and do it.
I was gonna say it's super rare, except when you can use it to just randomly date rape your girlfriend. So I guess it's not that rare.
It's
Yeah,
just
because
normal.
something you just do.
Yeah.
He wasn't sure, blah blah blah. She loves her family and is a little peculiar in her habits. There is a monkey faunus who is monkey faunus as well. Who
So yeah,
turned
Space Marine
into
steal
her
memories from fucking people.
as
More news
well.
at 11.
I purchased him earlier.
Space Marines can fuck the mind of other people into their own. Glorious. I purchased them earlier. Master, we must get the deed signed. He needs to go to the bathroom to clean himself. He grimaced. He didn't like it one bit. A man of his
Oh no,
stature.
bathing.
A man of his stature shouldn't smell like slaves. Okay. And that's why he has to clean himself. It's not because it's fucking filthy. It's because he doesn't want to smell like a slave.
What? Excuse me? Excuse me? Oh no, I don't want to take a bath. I might smell like a slave. Bitch.
No. He doesn't want... He wants to clean himself so that he doesn't smell like a slave.
In that sense. Alright. Sorry.
I've got myself 2 cats, a cow, and a ram, a goat, and a monkey who doesn't know the saying that silence is golden. His signature was on the documents, which he's signing in the bathroom for some reason.
Smart place to sign documents where there's water everywhere. Yeah.
Oh
Apparently.
no, that's an excellent place. Right under,
Right under the tap.
Yeah, right under the tub. Like, just do that.
Such documents were often registered with the official blah blah blah. She didn't like it.
Doesn't mean anything.
Oh, it's Blake time. It's your turn.
Courier.
Courier, it's your turn.
Fuck, are we?
It's Blake time. She didn't like it. Her arms were bound behind her back.
Great start. She didn't like it. Arms tied behind her back. Oh woo. Ooh woo.
Ooh woo, what's this?
Oh, right, I was ahead with the fucking bullshit. Okay, hold on, I have to go back to 21. Down, down. Down, we're going down to fucking hell.
Yep, you're going far down.
She didn't like it. Her arms were bound behind her back, and a harness, and her body was clad within the uniform of one of the lesser maids. Not the frilled monstrosity that the deer wore. The crocodile faunus continuing along, the smell of the herbs clung to the body of the woman. Perhaps some post-passion trophy for the woman, sick and twisted as she was, being pounded like a common whore by her owner. Humans were sick, using faunus for their own pleasure, even if the old woman had enjoyed it. It was still the fact that the woman had not even stopped one moment to cease her education. All these rules, the price of groceries, importing things from vacuo and such, the management of the internal finances. I don't even know how to read. I don't even know how to read. The master had said that it might be good for her to learn how to read, but it wasn't yet to be. The sick rapist was going to rape her again, and she would resist, no matter how much she knew that she would love it. He was a rapist, yes, he was one because he'd taken her. It did not feel good, no, it did not feel wonderful, and Blake Belladonna would refer to him as a rapist forevermore, because the other word did not ever need to be used by a faunus to refer to a man of the humankind. Steamed properly to ensure that the quality is more than sufficient for the master and his daughters to eat. Who cares about steamed buns? The crocodile hadn't been careful in her corrections, the small reedy stick that the woman had at her side being smacked against her side. Blake's lips parting to utter a soft the gag in her mouth, keeping her silent. It had been enforced after the father of the master had disapproved of her. A set of slaves have arrived, Lady Ash. One of the domestic servant fauna spoke softly, the crocodile's eyebrows raised, the aged and withered features shifting a little as the crooked smile grew somewhat in its vibrancy, the expression shifting a little as the reedy stick smacked against her legs again. Then we will inspect them. Do lead the way, slave. The woman had no collar to lock her in place. She had no collar that could explode. She could take her collar off at any time and not even be worried about it, while Blake collar seemed to weigh like an anchor around her neck. They came
Good,
to
you
the...
deserve it, bitch.
Yeah, you deserve so much more. They came to the slave pens, the smell strong now that she'd not been there before, different scents mixed together, pain and blood and fear, mixing with that mournful expressiveness that always came when she saw her enslaved brethren. 2 faunus girls stood side by side, their weapons at the ready to hurt the 2 slaves that stood between them. A set of cat faunus, twins most definitely, dark hair and their traits on display. A single tail and a set of ears on top of their head differentiated them as Blake caught sight of them. What are your names? There was a harsh tone to the old woman's voice, a harsh tone that Blake might have taken as well. They weren't anything special, at least not to the feeling that Blake had. They were just common Siamese type faunus, a little rarer than most, but still nothing really to raise an eyebrow at. Militae Malchite, and this is my sister Melanie. The crocodile made a swift motion with their hands, and the faunus at the twin girls' sides nudged them with their weapons. You are Militae and Melanie. You were sent here because you were born to a woman whose rights were lost for fornicating with the faunus and defiling her bloodline. Well, then everybody in the Ark family should fucking lose their rights to exist.
Don't even begin. Just keep going.
Okay, because everyone in the Ark family fucks faunus and procreates with them. The crocodile was harsh in her language without any sort of empathy for the plight of those poor girls enslaved after having tasted freedom. Blake really felt bad for them. No fauna should be enslaved to the monsters that lived in this place. Monster John Ark. Master John Ark holds the rights to your collar as the one who brought your mother to the attention of the FMB. He will do with you what he sees fit. And the woman grabbed a piece of paper and looked through the wriggling lines that were on the paper, a sick smile of cruelty appearing on the woman's lips. A virgin. You two are both virgins. Oh, that is a novelty. Blake made a low
Why is it
sound.
novelty when you can literally put super juice on people and turn them into virgins?
I don't know. A low sound as the two girls looked. Yes, Blake, those are my exact feelings right now as well. My God, me and Blake are on the same page. That's scary.
You get fucking Murloc noises whenever you see a Blake.
As the two girls look skittish and afraid, yeah, fucking rightfully so.
Okay, right.
I'm gonna say Blake knew that they would be given to the master, that filthy rapist who was ignoring her with his doe pet being in his favor. What did that girl have that she couldn't give him? Was he not the one who took her virginity? Bags of fat on a deer were useless, lithe and graceful, not built like some milk cow. That's how deer should be. Yes, the collars looked new, and the one with the cat ears seemed to be called Melanie, but Blake hadn't really been paid much attention. Twins for the master, he would rape them too. They'd struggle and never know true freedom again. They were just like her. Perhaps they could be friends. No, trust me, they'll both get raped to death by horses or something. She was getting distracted. The revolution waited for no one, not even the sick monsters that lived in this household. The man had been the final straw on her back, and she knew that the children had their sick desires from their father. Anyone who had once tasted the sweetness of freedom would yearn for it. She was going to see if these twins could be brought to her side, and when the time is right, she would make sure that the faunus would have their freedom. The crocodile was wrong for even accepting the vile seed of the Arch-Patriarch. The man's vile brood was wrong. The rapist would come for her again, and she would deny him until he threw her to the bed and ravished her, making her come over and over again like a woman should.
I just realized why I hate how they describe each other in this fucking story. They describe the way Blake always describes humans is like they're fucking gene stealers.
I mean, to be fair, they act like gene stealers, so.
Yeah, but the way she goes into, oh yeah, they'll rape and pillage and blah 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 blah. If they followed up on half the threats they made, there would not be a faunus left on planet fucking Remnant.
Yeah, neither would there be a human left if the faunus actually did what they said as well, so nobody would be left, and that would be the best outcome of the story.
Yeah, everyone's just pull an Ideon on them. It'd be the best for both sides.
Anyway, yeah, but until he threw her to the bed, ravished her, making her come over and over again like a woman should. The rapist will never conquer Blake Belladonna. Put them in a cage until Master Jean returns. This one needs to learn more about the different methods of food testing. That meant that the gag would be out again and she'd be forced to eat something to test for poison. It was important to check the meal for the master, but she supposed it might be the apparition's way of trying to get rid of her. The dough wasn't even worthy of the master. Also, you have food testers or whatever, apparently, despite us never seeing them, and also despite their... Oh, sweet mother of God.
You know, diet testers and just food testers in general are one of my favorite setting builders in stories, period, because it describes so much, like, says so much about the society you live in, where you can't even trust the food that you eat.
Except we never see them, and also
Yeah,
they and I was gonna say, even if they do have food testers, they have food testers that we never see, but they don't have guards apparently. Okay.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is that it's one piece of world building, but everything else needs to follow up on it.
It's one
Why?
piece of world building that's ignored.
Yeah, much like most of the story.
Yeah, she'd be the one to have the rapist ravisher. The dough was not pure enough. Who wanted something common when they could have soul hair to the panther in their bed? I'm worth 1,000 of you, Yang. Pedigree was worth more than a mere common deer. That's how it had always been. The average and the common would be crushed below the feet of those who held the service to the floor. They were above others, as it always had been. It was an honor that Yang was even allowed to gaze upon her.
I just realized why Cyanide is doing this. Just having Blake go on jealous tirades against Yang like this about how she's a commandeer, but we know that she's a fucking dragon.
And
most
dragon are basically like the emperors or the royal class, so.
Basically every character that has 4 brain cells know that she's a dragon, except for people like Blake. So she can go in these tirades about how she's so much better than Yang. Because Cyanide wants us to think that, oh, Yang's the better one. Yang's the better one. Yang's the better one.
It's like, really not.
No, my problem is that she's better. I don't really give a shit. My problem is that she keeps going on and on and on about how, yeah, Nightshade's coming. And it's really not. It's never fucking coming because we keep doing this where it's like, oh, Blake is not in any way better than Yang. Yang is so much better in the story, so why would he ever go for Blake? And as you said, 20 chapters later, we still don't know.
I was gonna say, you want the summary? Okay, so 20 chapters later, she's still a fucking revolutionary, except this time, like I said, she tries to kill Jean or fucking stab him to death. His family, even though making all these threats and torturing her numerous times up to this point, never do anything about her trying to kill him. Instead, they throw her into a cage and like throw away the key or whatever and like forget about her. So she disappears for 20 chapters until she just magically shows up again or whatever, and we get nothing.
This is what I mean. Nightshade's coming. 50 chapters in. Where the fuck is it? Where the fuck is it?
I was gonna say this isn't Nightshade. This is Blake torture porn, which normally I'd be okay with, but you have to give me a reason. Like, you have to give me a reason for like wanting Blake torture porn. In this story, Blake and her views of like let's kill all the humans is completely, from what we've seen, completely justified. So I don't hate her.
Alright, so
yes, your mic is working.
Okay.
Yeah, your mic's
Barely.
working. Yeah, it kinda is, relatively, somewhat.
Fucking figure out exactly what the hell is going on with it then.
Alright, so meanwhile, I can go on a little rant about the whole tag thing, because tags are important in stores in general. Tags tell you what you're gonna get. And if you're not gonna get that, it's false advertisement. Now, if you accept, for example, Broken Fangs, so it's gonna have something to do with Blake and or Faunus, or so maybe Blake and maybe a female Adam. I don't know, maybe getting some weird shit. It's probably gonna it's probably gonna have Blake being raped, right? That's the name of the game. But we keep spending so much time on characters that are not Blake, that keeps being told to us that he is so much worse than the other characters. Then why even have it be called Broken Fangs? Why even have Blake here? Why even call it Nightshade?
I was gonna say, Lyle, that is another excellent point too, because Cyanide Sins also has this bad habit of introducing so many characters that he can't actually like focus on them at one at a time and give them their own stories. Like, we have fucking John, we have 7 of his sisters, his mom and his dad, that's fucking, what, that's 10 people right there. Then we have Summer, Ruby, Ozpin, who will pop up later, Blake and her family, that's 16. Then we have Yang and her mom, Raven, that's 18. Then we have fucking Tara, that's 19. Fucking a couple people we meet at Raven's bandit camp, which brings the total up to like 23. Then we have Nora and her grandfather, which show up later, that's 26. we have like 30-ish main characters that he's all trying to give attention to. No, 35 to 40-ish main characters that he's trying to give attention to that he can't focus on all of them. It's too much.
Well, with all this shit going on, there's not really much that he can do. Like, he's put himself into a hole where either he focuses on the main cast and gets nowhere with it, or he just jumps around like he does in the actual story, and it's a jumbled fucking mess.
Yes, because he put himself into that situation, Kitty.
Yes.
This is the advantage of having a lot of characters in a setting that makes it like a setting where it makes sense. For example, video game. Bunch of characters there. You don't need to give each one a well-structured story. You just need to give them a somewhat understandable through line.
Mm-hmm.
You give them enough to get the player interested, or you fucking have them there and you kill them off.
Oh, you can just have them there and have them have a chance to die if the players don't do something.
Like, that's
Or if the
thing,
players
you
just
can
want
have
them to die, they can just kill them and be on their way. They didn't need a full character study.
You can have a fucking piece of media with tons upon tons of characters, but you reach the point of character fatigue if there are too many of them and they are all active.
I was going to say that's the opposite with this story, though. There's like 40-ish characters and they're all passive, so...
Well, that's the biggest problem with the difference between the two mediums is that with games, you can have all these games, all these characters, but like usually like 2 or 3 or maybe 4 active characters, like in tabletop games, where you can have everyone else have plot lines, but they're passive characters that the players interact with and get those stories going. Whilst here, it's a limited narrative told by the writer. It's not based on other people wanting to do X, Y, and Z. It's a writer deciding what we see. And what has Cyanide made us see so far?
Nothing.
There's really nothing going on here.
A wet fart.
There's
Fucking
Blake
nothing of value.
raving and ranting about wanting to get fucked, but also wanting to be part of the revolution.
Yeah, I was gonna say, no, I was gonna say it's a poor attempt at showing someone who's like in denial or whatever, you know, the first stage of grief or whatever is like denial and then anger, and he's trying to do that and he's failing spectacularly, so. Because there needs to be a transition at some point between the different stages. He doesn't do that. He goes from fucking anger and denial or whatever, the first 2 stages, and then he skips over bargaining and grief completely, somewhat, mostly, and then he just goes right to acceptance, and I'm just like...
That's not even my biggest issue. My biggest issue is that Alright, so this is a common issue in serialized media, where each episode is basically its own story. Where the changes from one episode doesn't leave over to the next. It's very easy for the writer to forget what the core characteristics are. So a character that has been through a very emotional event in one episode can then the next episode be a fucking asshole for no goddamn reason. And that's the same thing here, except instead of going through exploring different ranges of the character, he goes through 2 different fucking characteristics for John, as he's one of the main characters that is being told from either him or Blake. So for him, he's got asshole John, and he's got ignorant John, who just wants to help everyone. And that's the only 2 guys we get, and there is no in between. It's either he's an asshole, or he's the best guy ever. And it goes by chapter to chapter. Not in between chapter. No, chapter to chapter. There's no transition or periods in those chapters, and that's what pisses me off about his change in attitudes. If he was like started off soft and 80 chapters, he slowly begins more jaded, and then later on he becomes more soft and then jaded, like actual curves, like a normal fucking human would. That'd be a lot easier to read than this one episode or one chapter he's an asshole, one chapter he's a good guy, one chapter he's an asshole, one chapter he's a good guy. Like his fucking compare his reactions to Velvet when he first meets her, where they're torturing her, and he's like, Jesus Christ, let's get out of here. And
I was gonna say no, Lau. He doesn't have a horrified reaction. He has a reaction of being bored and indifferent.
Tepid.
He's tepid.
Yeah, he has a temper reaction, but he's not into it. Like, he's not going, yeah, let's fucking torture this animal. He just goes, alright, we're fucking leaving.
Yeah, there's just fucking nothing there for it.
Yeah, and then...
He's just, like, on board, so...
Yeah, but then in the next one, he's like, oh yeah, this is what she deserves. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, at least have some kind of through line. At least try. And if you're gonna go with the serialized bullshit, then give us something more interesting than the same plot line over and over and over again till like 5 chapters. Wait, so it's not just every 5 chapters some insane shit happens, like Raven pops up to threaten John and jerk him off.
As it does.
Oh, and she'll continue to fucking tempt and just fuck around with him and threaten to jerk him off later on, too. Trust me, it'll be great. I'll make you suicidal.
Here's just one example I can bring up. Imagine, if you will, a new character every chapter. Explores different parts of this fucking world. You can explore all kinds of fetishes if you want. You can have recurring characters like John Blake. Just have something new. Just have something. If you're gonna repeat the same 2 or 3 pieces of plot where it's like John wants to fuck Yang, but he can't because Summer and Blake wants to start the revolution, but she also hungered for John's dick and doesn't want Yang to steal it. Also, Yang's a dragon. Have something else there.
Switch to a new character for each chapter and explore different aspects of the world through that.
Nope. Fuck you. You think that Kitty, how dare you? How do you think that's good storytelling? Fuck you, that isn't. How dare you, sir? How dare you fucking presume to even
dare you?
That's good storytelling.
You stole my future.
Hello, Greta. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm actually an adult now. You can fuck me.
I'll fuck you and kill you at the same time. So.
Oh Christ! Let's just stop right there.
I'll have to fight through our handlers.
Cyanide, I'll do to you what fucking you made Gira do to John's sister. Okay, fine.
I'll do it to your sister.
I'll do it to your sister.
Okay, Courier is gay. Good to know.
Shut up, Kitty.
You're the one who said you fucking man.
No, I'm not, Kitty. You're just misconstruing it because you're a little bitch.
Wait. All right. How far are we from finishing this?
I don't know. It's up to Kitty to continue reading. So, have fun.
He
We're almost through.
Into sunlight. He goes and asks if they want to get something to eat. He's asking us to be honest with them.
Yeah, I was okay. So, do you want me to just summarize the rest of this chapter?
Oh yeah, I'm just going to summarize the rest of it as we're going through it. He looks around. He gets called out by some people. They explain that they're from Mistral. One of them is a ginger with green eyes and a sporty cut. The other one is clearly Asian. They say they're from Mistral. The last one is Pyrrha, and she's a faunus and she's a slave.
Yes, it's
boy.
It's Nora, Ren, and Pyrrha. So.
Yep.
And they're all fucking faunus?
No, Nora is human. Ren and Pyrrha are faunus.
Yep. Yep. Nora's just a fucking slaver, as usual.
As you do.
Usual.
As usual. John asks.
Yes, Nora, the famous slaver.
Nora asks to get a tour. He agrees. They basically go on a fucking date for some reason.
Okay. When does Sam hells us?
Sam hells what?
They have a discussion. Nora's a commoner, so he looks down on her.
Oh, you filthy fucking commoner.
What Sam hells?
John has an internal monologue.
You go on a date for some reason?
Oh, I have to be nice to them. It doesn't hurt to be nice to others.
Because he's like, I gotta make a good impression since they're from another country or something, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, those filthy foreigners.
Isn't John in Ruby from Mistral too?
Mm-hmm. Yep. He changed it in this, I guess.
Nora is like super ridiculously forward and trying to come on to him. Okay.
Why?
Not sure.
I'll keep going, Kitty. It gets better.
Kira doesn't say anything. Pretty young woman, master. Yang's talking to him. She's a great bonus. I love to have her working for me. And that's Norris talking. Sure, between the two of you, Faunus. Norris just fucking throws them a dog bowl.
Dog ball, dodge!
You fucking animals share. Jean's like, oh, I have to appear like I'm in control. So Nora asks him if he's going to be a huntsman. Nora is an enthusiastically better partner and probably boyfriend who hadn't pulled his hands out of his sleeves once, the excitement in her eyes glowing as he didn't resist. So, are you gonna go hunting, John? Nora will be attending Beacon. He would have liked... does she talk in the third person? Oh my god, she's talking in the third person.
Nothing like a slaver talking in third person.
Nora, known slaver and
like
insufferable bitch. Oh, fuck. Nora, known slaver and insufferable narcissistic bitch. Says he would have liked to, but Daddy won't let him. Nora says he looks fancy, tells him to be the best person he can be. Oh, wait, I think that was Ren talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, that was Pyrrha. Weird.
Fucking Kira talking?
Yeah, it was Pyrrha talking. Nora.
By the way, Pyrrha's actually a peacock, so...
Wait, why a peacock of all things?
She's a peacock, Faunus. It's important for the 4.
That's
Because it's supposed to be a twist for later on. If the stream is still going, fuck all of you. I hope you all die and get out of here.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I love all of you. Okay, it's fine. But fucking for the 4, there's the ox who's the voice. There's the fucking shit. What are they again? There's the ox who's the voice. There's the tiger who like calls people to war. The panther isn't one of them. Who the fuck are the other 2? There's the turtle who like seeks the truth. And then the 4th is supposed to be the phoenix, but since that isn't an actual animal, he just made them peacocks. So
even though dragons aren't actual animals, so
yeah. I was going to say
Wait, does some of the dragons are actually represented by deers and it's just an elaborate ruse?
No, it's actual dragons.
No, lol, you see, it's like our shit posting about the Ouroboros. Where it's actually just a giant dragon that just had kids all across the world and humans wiped them out because they were assholes.
Hey, don't you shit on Boris.
No, I said Ouroboros.
I know, Boris is named after Ouroboros.
Then he's probably a fucking faggot.
I was going to say he is. You can just make fun of Dr. Mobius for misspelling Ouroboros.
Why did you have to remind me of a good idea? Christ, why?
You're welcome.
Now I'm really depressed because we're not gonna... You could be writing that, we could be going through that instead of this bullshit. Now I'm just sad.
Be sad.
Hey, Dr. Mobius, you misspelled Ouroboros. Did I? Shit. How unlike me.
Anyways, they're talking. Says they look good in some fucking dress or something. Jean says to himself he did his good deed for the day, like a good little Boy Scout. Fuck you, you've done many, many bad things today, so you don't get a pass. One good deed won't cut it, you fucking beaver.
Do you mind if I read the final passage, because that's so rushed? It's amazing.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay. So basically, after they fucking, after they're done eating at the restaurant or whatever, the gang, the Scooby-Doo gang, the Scooby-Doo gang, and Nora, Ren, Pyrrha, John, Yang, Mint, and one other person, I think, or no, that's
some other faggot that's just there.
I think that's all of them. So there's 6. Yeah, so Pyrrha, Jean, or fucking Nora, Ren, Pyrrha, Jean, Mint, and Yang. So 6 people.
He goes from one to home.
I was going to say after they're done going like out to eat at the restaurant or whatever, he's like showing her around the city some more or whatever, and then as he's heading home or whatever, like showing her off as they're heading to his house. One of the streets is like blocked or whatever, and they start putting them these weird people start waving them through like a side alley because the main road is blocked off, and they don't question it. And that's where I begin with Yang's thing. She didn't like this at all. During the food, she got in a closer look at the 2 friends to the ginger, who most definitely was a human from her base scent. The guy called Ren was a faunus, and the girl named Pyrrha seemed to be one as well, but they hid their traits. It was perhaps just out of concern for their friend, but the master would not would not suffer. She nudged him a little to make him aware, only getting a smile in return. He was a sweet young man, but that didn't mean he should let his guard down unless they were in private and he was giving her what she deserved. I don't trust them. Her master suggested that they go through an alley, the street clear ahead of them. It was an odd decision, but she did not question it. It was perhaps something that he wished to show to the human girl. She wasn't very knowledgeable about this part of Vale. They traveled through a long alley, one of the few that she didn't really know. This was the lower district below the homes of the rich and famous, the ones who held power. It wasn't a place where a hooker would easily come, but she kept alert nevertheless.
I suppose
Auburn
it would be
Arc.
hard to come in that environment.
I was about to say.
Auburn Arc had said that she shouldn't let him leave her sight, and she hadn't let him leave her sight yet. The master would be safe, even with this ginger girl in her faunus attendance. The master and others might not be able to tell, but there was something in the air that just made her aware. The girl, Nora, seemed to be close to the faunus named Ren, while the other faunus, Pyrrha, kept an almost paranoid look around, her eyes never quite fading with that attention. The master led the way, and she followed behind dutifully. They came to a large courtyard, no windows facing the courtyard, a large barricade of wooden debris covering the exit, a large bear faunus standing there at one side of the space, his hands on a weapon that looked a little like a long club. A collar around his throat marked him as a huntsman-class faunus, and she caught sight of 20 others. 3 huntsman-class faunus collars, their multi-hued lights lit up in the shadows of the alley. This is bad. They've got us boxed in. All right, guys, kill him. She got in front of her master, knowing that he needed her protection. He was stunned, she could see it, as she got into a ready stance. In a fight, it did not matter. In a fight, it did not matter whether she was unveiled to have aura or not. It mattered that he was safe. One of the guys came swinging at her, wearing dark gray rags and a crude woodsman axe, yelling something with a loud her body in motion, the clothing resisting the tear that it was under as her fit buried itself into her opponent's gut. I think you mean fist buried itself into her opponent's gut, the air escaping the lips of the man as he was bent over. The faunus trait of a set of scales on the cheeks barely a mention as she whirled around. Oh fuck, she's beating up Courier 6. That's not fun.
Oh no.
She checked the master's status, finding him taking a few steps back. Mint was holding off 3 of them, and she again. She caught sight of a warhammer being raised in a loud.
Don't drag into fucking warhammers, please.
She caught sight of a warhammer being raised in a loud and a loud yell coming from the excitable ginger as the weapon slammed down onto one of the faunus men, the body not quite rising again. At her side was the young man named Ren, a set of claws that looked pretty fierce with a set of machine guns strapped to the back of the hand, leaving him with the look of a mysterious man. The redhead's hood had been pulled back, and a shield and some spear weapon pulled out from under the rags, the sight of gold and brown armor visible, a red crest sticking up through her hair, the feathers shimmering in the fading sunlight, as her body twisted in motion once more, time seemingly resuming from that brief instant where she'd been distracted by her new allies, if they could be called as such. They were fighting against the men, and an explosion suddenly rocked her, sending her to the ground, getting up slowly and seeing the big bear faunus, his bearded face looking grim as the large snout showed clearly what kind of faunus his was, his face looking angrily. "Kill the Ark, you idiots! The others aren't important." She wasn't going to let that insult to her master slide, as her body was ready, her gaze focusing on the bear, and something seemed to tug around her very being and then break, shattering. A familiar gasp and something horrible, wet and splurting, came from behind her. her head turning around, seeing it as it happened. Green hair and red eyes triumphant as two Kama blades entered the body of her master, a vicious smile on the girl's face as if something great had been achieved. The sudden surprise on his face as one of the Kama blades emerged from his chest, the other one sliding into him from the gut in a pincer-like maneuver. The master did not have his aura unlocked. The master did not have it unlocked, and she looked away from him from a moment. Yeah, that's all it takes. No! The body hit the ground, her feet carrying a few steps with an odd, staggering pace, her eyes watching his killer pull one of her weapons free. The body had fallen to the ground as Yang's steps increased in speed. Her hand grabbed a hold of the rat faunus's arm as a tug ripped it straight off the armpit. As easy as tearing tissue paper, that's how easy you can tear someone's arm off. She threw the torn-off arm away, her foot slamming against the rat's foot as the faunus girl tried to get away. The shattering of the foot and meat barely audible to her ears as the body went down as she looked at the man that she loved. Yang fell down to her knees next to him, the rat faunus screaming in pain, gazing at his body as he laid there. Others were still shouting and fighting, but it mattered not to her, staring at her mate's body. Dead. Master Jean, no. He was dead. He'd never get up again. He'd never claim her as his mate. She picked him up. He was lighter than she thought, and wet to the touch. He was all dirty and wet, and there was blood coming out of the wounds. John,
wet.
No,
He was
no.
wet, and
this
he
is
made
all a
her
bad
wet
dream.
by being wet.
This is all a very bad dream. He died. Blood was starting to soak into her clothing from the wound, the eyes growing duller by the second as the light faded from them. My mate. He died. Her heartbeat quieted as the rain. Her heartbeat quieted. What? That's not actually how you spell that, I don't think. Her heartbeat quieted. Not quietened.
Quietened. Yep.
Quietened. Whatever. I don't
Yep.
fucking care.
That's correct.
As the rage settled into her heart, she looked at the others around, the red-headed woman's spear weapon piercing through the body of one of the men. Mint was behind her, shielding her body with his own, the sight of a long spear-like weapon being shoved through his side by one of the huntsmen that had been sent there to kill her mate. Why? I love you so much. I love you so much. We were going to be inseparable. You were the one for me. I was born on this world to be with you, as you were born for me to be with. Her tears dropped down onto his face, the lips looking pale and bloodless. There was no heartbeat. The assassin had been quick and done their job. Oh yeah, that tends to happen when you stab someone in the heart. She was aware of the fight continuing, but she just held the body of the man who had been her world. Her fingers, coated in blood that should not be spilled, lightly touched his cheek. It was still warm. His dull and lifeless eyes asked her why she'd let her attention slip, why he was dead. This couldn't happen to her mate. No, this couldn't happen to the one who was going to make her happy. He's dead. 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 It wasn't a human sound that came from her throat, rather a low, keening, animalistic wail, her eyes looking into that which had completed her for a moment, torn away, as her fingers lightly shut the eyelids of the one who had been so important to her. The sound
Rigor mortis was struck here. You can't do that.
The sound changed to something deeper, something more primal and heart-wrenching, bouncing off the walls of this enclosed space. It was grief, rage, and anger burning within her like a flame of hatred. Cinders ignited into burning rage and fury. The world had gone mad, but she'd fix it. She'd fix it all. Blood spilled for the master's vengeance. Those who had taken him away from her would face judgment and be exterminated.
Indestructible.
A nation that is incorruptible.
Alright, so what's the, where's where he gets revived by her dragon power?
Next chapter.
Alright.
Basically, next chapter.
Immediately.
I was gonna say next chapter. Even though, like I said, he got stabbed both in the heart and in the fucking guts, like his entire torso would just be like mush. Even though that happened, even though his entire torso should basically be missing, the next chapter happens. She fucking gruesomely kills a bunch of people, including the rat faunus, by like ripping out her womb or some fucking hilarious shit like that. Then she fucking goes back over the body, cries some more. Pyrrha comes over and she's like, "Wait a minute, you can activate his semblance, or you can activate his aura, or awaken his aura, and that will save him." And then she does, and she awakens his aura, and then he's saved. So.
Alright, so fun fact. Remember when you originally recommended me this fic?
Yes.
Do you know where I stopped? Like, I didn't read everything. Like, I took pieces, like, small pieces from pretty much every chapter and get
And-
fucking bored
I
and
was
just
gonna say,
kept flipping through it.
didn't you stop like chapter 2 or something?
Oh no, I kept going. That was where I actually stopped reading it and just kept going to see where the fucking horse race he kept crying about.
That's like chapter 27.
Yeah, I stopped on this chapter after reading this fight scene. I was like, alright, I'm done. Like, he dies, and I'm like, there's still 50 or so chapters more, and I'm like, alright, so let's go. Just next chapter, then it's like, oh yeah, you can activate his aura, and I'm like, alright, this
I'm
fanfic.
done.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm
I'm
fucking done. Oh god. So, Kitty, how did you like that?
Sargon of Akkad just uploaded a fucking video on his original channel.
Who?
Excuse
Sargon
me?
of Akkad, fucking Carl Benjamin.
Alright, what is it?
The Politics of Starship Troopers got re-uploaded.
Oh, fucking finally.
Does it work? It's unavailable. It's been removed by the uploader. Why, Carl? Why? Why did you do this to me?
Eddie, what's your actual thoughts?
This was fucking stupid and boring. Damn it, Carl! Damn it!
He's so much more invested in fucking the Politics Starship Troopers than what he thinks of Broken Fang.
This fucking shit is boring.
I just can't believe they did Callie dirty. I just fucking can't believe it. I was gonna say I'm focusing on that because it's something I just now realized. Like before that or whatever, I thought like her getting double teamed by Jean and his dad was bad enough. But now that I realize not only did she get double teamed by Jean and her dad, she got double teamed by Jean's dad and his mom. Oh no. Oh no.
Look, it's just a threesome
No.
between old people.
No. I was going to say she fucking drugs them and does it against their will. Oh.
Look, they.
Oh yeah, so
after-
she's in control.
They look. It was just sex at an inconvenient time. Don't you get it, Curry?
Fucking. Oh. God.
I fucking hate.
Why? Why would
Alright,
you
Kitty,
do
have
Callie
you
like that?
Stream off?
And you know what? Even in the context of this fucked up story, it doesn't make any sense because